ingredients. Indulgent options like truffle fries, duck tacos, artisan wood-fired pizzas, fresh salads, and more, along with an eclectic selection of craft beers and classic handcrafted cocktails. Plus, with 40 big screen TVs, Sammy's is also the perfect place to catch your favorite game. Satisfy your craving anytime, 24/7, tableside or in the dining room at Sammy's Restaurant and Bar at Stone's Gambling Hall.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Stone's Lab. My name is Veronica Brill. With me is the Jay.
You're welcome.
We've all been thanking you for years. Tonight, put your seatbelts on. It's going to be a ride. $10.25 with a mandatory $50 straddle.
$10.25.50.
$10.25.50.
In Sacramento, I love it.
And a live double straddle. You can straddle up to half your stack at Stone's Gambling Hall. It could be potentially a 10.25, 7K.
56K.
What? We have a legend at the table. The legend.
Nat.
Yes, Nat. Now we have JC Tran, World Series of Poker phenomenon, superstar.
WPT champion.
WPT champion.
Sacramento legend JC Tran. Started out grinding games here in Sacramento while playing Limit Hold'em here in Sacramento.
What?
Limit to Hold'em was a thing. And then back in the day it was a game 918, whatever.
That's all you could play, right?
But,
back in the day.
Yeah, but that's what, like people. He grinded out these nitty gritty games here in Sacktown, made it to the big stage, and now we have him back in town for a 10.25.50 no limit Hold'em game.
Crushing. I bet you he's going to crush and destroy souls, and then go home like he normally does and like kisses his children and wife.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
Yeah. So.
Family first poker player. I love him.
Family first, crushing souls second.
Yes.
So we have Tony in seat one, bought in initially 1,800, and then he's like, let me get back to this, rethink this. 3,200, and he feels rather small because some of the other stacks are huge. Jeremy's in seat two. He's got about $2,800 TD.
Jeremy for back up, like Jeremy.
Back up.
Jeremy.
Back it up.
Jeremy's great. Love Jeremy.
Talk about Jeremy. Do you
the last time we had Jeremy on the table, Jeremy pulled every trick out of his hat to run over the table, and it was wonderful. I love it.
I enjoy that. No one pulls out more tricks out of their hat, folds boats correctly like TD.
TD in seat three. He's got about 10K in front of him.
When I see TD's name, I rub my lucky TD tattoo on my shoulder. You know, Kyle's on my other arm, and I'm happy. Did you get his autograph again before you got here? Matt is in seat four.
Matt Holtzclaw, Sacramento legend.
$3,200. You gotta feel small. You gotta feel
like so diminutive.
10, 25, 50. It's a mandatory 50 straddle. Everyone knows that. You can't get in the game unless you know that. Nat! Nat is a legend, at least in my own mind. Nat is sitting on 12.5K. Nat said, I'm going to sit down with JC Tran and I'm going to give him a run for his money. And I'm going to actually make my stack bigger, because that's what men like to do.
Nat's got 12.5K in front of him. Mailman Eric in seat six. He's sitting on about 2,200 right now. Zach in seat seven. We've seen Zach's fearless, and to win at these stakes at these levels against this type of field, you have to be fearless.
Is
you can't
Zach
be playing
the 3-barrel bluffer?
Zach's like a 6-barrel bluffer.
Nice.
They're still pushing the pot to the other guy. He's like, no way, I'm all in. Zach's got about 5,300 in front of him.
He just won a
5K.
pot, so he probably has more. Brian, my favorite, my love. My little, what would I call my squish? He's my squish. Brian's got 4K, and then JC Tran, ladies and gentlemen. JC Tran sitting on 11.5K. Nat has him outstacked.
What a game. What a lineup.
Welcome to the game, T. Burke, Rick and Barstow, Poker Pro Eric, Suited Aces. I know Poker Pro Eric's happy about this because he likes him some JC Tran. I'm
doesn't?
Lyman's son. What's up?
Woman Rider. All the usual suspects in the
Suited
chat.
Aces, sick lineup. Indeed, it is. Indeed.
So for those of you tuning into our stream for the first time, red chips, $5 chips, green chips, 25. Nothing unusual there. The white chips you'll see, those definitive stacks of white chips, are the definitive $100 chips.
Whee! Who doesn't love just a big schmammering of $100 chips? Just
So good.
even if they shove all in on you, you're just like, I have to fold, but those chips are so beautiful. I just want to admire them for a minute before I do.
That's so good.
Am I the only one?
10, 25, 50 is the game, and double straddles are allowed.
Up
so
to half your stack.
God knows what we're gonna see tonight.
They can run it 3 times as per our usual game, and they can do some rabbit hunting for a tip. Actions on Zach. Zach always likes to sit in that game. It looks like he's grown a little bit of a mustache this time. I don't recognize him.
Facial hair matters.
JC Tran's going to open up for 225 in late position.
Can't see JC's cards right now.
G Cash 23 asks how much JC and Nat in for. So Nat's in for 12.5 and JC Tran is in for 11.5. Nat with a 9-3, never one to shy from action.
Henry Love. So we had a double straddle here from Nat. Nat double straddled to 100, so it was 10, 25, 50, 100, and JC opened at 250, and Nat's going to defend the double straddle with a 9-3 of hearts. Flop comes down, ace, king, 9, hits Nat. We can't see what Jeremy in the small blind or JC opened with.
And I'm in tears right now at the beauty of this game. Is your heart warm? Does it feel like a marriage proposal from the one?
I'm ear to ear, stupid smile right now. Like, it's wonderful. So here we see it checks to JC. JC was the original aggressor. He bets 350, and Jeremy wastes no time and jams all of it with middle pair for 2,600. And he doesn't care. Like, all right, JC, if you got an ace, good for you. If not, eat it.
And nothing better than making JC eat it, and then he folds. And
Welcome back to Sack, JC.
Yeah, welcome, welcome, Boo. I almost called him Bay. I feel like I'm on Twitter too much lately.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Anyway, James Shermkus, what's up? Nice to see you. Andrew Null, so glad 5th grade got canceled tomorrow so I can watch this. Yes, I know, I remember the tweet.
They canceled the 5th grade?
Yeah, so he could stay up and watch our game, obviously.
Wow. And now, okay, so Nat has the straddle on.
The $50 straddle. So it's a $50 mandatory straddle.
Mandatory straddle. 10, 25, 50. And Nat's got queens in the straddle.
And you can never put it on Nat. Nat's our rangeless beast.
And here Brian picks up jacks under the gun +3, and Brian makes it 150 to go with 2 red jacks. Jeremy's gonna flat the 150 with 7 8 clubs, and here comes Nat. Nat's gonna flat queens. Oh, sneaky, sneaky.
That's a sickness.
And here we go.
Oh.
6-4 deuce, 2 clubs. Jeremy's not going anywhere. Brian's got an overpair, and Nat is gonna flat and lead into Brian.
And Nat's also got a backdoor flush draw.
Brian's just gonna call. Jeremy, he'll call as well. Turn card. 3.
Now we're 4 to a straight.
So here's the thing about this. I mean, Brian is one of the only players that we're going to have at this table that's going to be opening, besides Nat, that's going to be opening a huge range. Nat's going to defend a huge range. We saw the previous hand with him defending the 9-3. So it's not unreasonable to think that and Jeremy for himself, it's pretty wide open himself. Any one of these players can have a 5. And you find yourself in a lot of games where you look at this board, and be like, sure, any 5 makes a straight, but like how many 5s is guys are really going to have?
Well,
These 3 customers,
any one of them.
even though none of them do, any one of them could. Like plausibly, like, okay, he could have like 5 ace here, or like 9-5 or 7-5 or anything.
And he got jacks and queens to fold.
So sick. Jeremy.
How does he do this? Because it doesn't work when I play.
But that's what we talk about. When players that play a wider range of hands, one, you have more boards you can bluff. Your nuts also get paid off more often because because you have that table image of constantly hammering at pots, and Jeremy's like so Jeremy's that other one. Like I mentioned Nat, I mentioned
Jeremy,
Brian.
another Brian?
Jeremy's another Brian. He's another Nat. Nat's
I love
another
it.
Brian. Nat's another Jeremy. I mean, it's full circle here. He's that guy who could very plausibly like, hey, would he call 150 with 5-7 off here? He just might, you know.
This is such madness. We're early on and we watched queens and jacks fold
To 8 high.
to an 8 high. Are we playing poker? Yeah.
Let the levels begin. Player I'm like really eager to watch here is Tony in seat 1. Tony's a grinder. Cuts his teeth, makes a living playing cards. We've yet to have him on the stream. It's his first time here, but if his reputation precedes him, he should be able to cut a pretty penny in this game over the long haul.
It looks like we had the $50 mandatory straddle, but it looks like we had a $100
Zach
double
put in a
straddle.
$100 double straddle
And we got a raise out
to
of TD.
3 1/4 from TD.
Oh, I love this game. This is so beautiful. I'm just going to get this off my chest. I can't believe this. Oh, what a game. 11.9 is our biggest stack, and it's
Movie
Nat.
Maker JJ Casino, welcome to the game. Rogulim, Andrew Null.
Lyman Hammer. We'll just call him Lyman's Hammer. We won't say the stuff in between. Welcome to the game, everybody. Enjoy the show. This is like a 3 Michelin star restaurant tonight. That's what we're here for. Giving you top quality action with a perfect ribeye steak.
Oh, and shout out to a couple of friends of ours who played the Twitter role that we had this past Monday and final tabled. Abraham, punching numbers for us in the back here,
Nice.
making this show happen. Plastica, always in the chat. Fat
Yes.
Train.
Yes, Fat Train got second. No.
No.
Daniela got second.
Daniela.
Who won?
Darren Bradford, good
Nice.
friend of mine. Darren had a couple friends. Like I saw like the final table like posted. And I was like, man, I know all these people. Like half these people work for us.
Limp pot.
Live poker's rigged.
When I say limp pot, everybody called 50.
250 in the pot. 9-5 deuce. 2 clubs. Eric hits his 5. He's gonna fire at 125. See what's out there.
Nunu 2 poking. There's only 3 Michelin stars available in restaurants. That's it. Sorry, baby. You can't get more than 3 Michelin stars. Where have you been?
Is though like
The Michelin stars are up to 3. Once you got 3, man, you can charge like $700 a person.
I've confused my entire life. I've been like thrown off by like the like.
You thought there was 5.
I really did. I wasn't lost when you said the Michelin stars. I'm like, oh.
You need to watch Chef's Table on.
So Jeremy makes it. Wow, here comes Eric. So Jeremy raises with 9-10. Eric knows he can't win at showdown with middle pair and a queen kicker, and he turns his middle pair of 5s into a bluff, and re-raises to 650 with a pair of 5s. Mailman did not come to mess around. And look at Jeremy's face. Jeremy popped him with top pair and a 10 kicker. And Eric says, not so fast.
He said, eat it.
Suck it. This is wonderful.
And I play 2-5 with Eric sometimes. Eric's one of those guys who's capable of just adjusting his game, playing lower stakes, playing the 10, 25, 50, which is what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a practice. This is a game, 10, 25, 50. This is live. These are real chips.
I was kind of wondering like what Eric's plan was there leading out with the middle pair and the queen kicker, and we can clearly see what it was. He was repping a bigger hand and like figured that maybe someone's going to play back at him. Figured that he couldn't be too strong there leading out into that many opponents. Maybe that
Into
he's
one opponent?
No, it was like 5-way.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
initially, yeah. Matt's coming in for a raise.
260 with the 9-10 of hearts.
And it was,
JC put in the double straddle with the ace-8. JC will defend. A couple longtime Sacramento grinders going out of here. Deuce 5 tray, 1 heart. That board's gonna miss a big blind defense range most of the time, so I'd expect Matt to c-bet heads up on that board a lot. JC does pick up an inside straight draw. Jack on the turn. And it's an awkward card for Matt. He's gonna check it back. Disco.
A baby disco.
Baby disco. Matt's got the best hand.
He also has showdown value, so I wouldn't mind a check here or a bet. A bet he could get. Can he get worse?
Well, after he goes check on the turn, if JC had a 2-pair plus type hand, he probably wouldn't risk it going check river, so he might lead river. So Matt's got to feel there that a river pair of 9s is probably going to be good. That JC might have a hand like a 5-6, 7-5, something like that, ace 3, one of those hands, and he just might get value on me. It goes check, and then a 9 comes off. Unless, I mean, if you're in JCC, so let's say if you're JC and you defend with a hand like 5-6, 5-7, ace 3, you check call with 1 pair or 1 pair and an inside straight draw. The jack comes off and it goes check. And then a 9 comes off. Unless your opponent had raised, I mean, as we know that Matt did with 9-10 of hearts, but unless your opponent had raised, pre-flop with a hand like ace-9, which is hard for him to have because he has an ace. If he had it, well, not if he had ace 3 or 5-6 or 5-7 or 7-5. But if you had defended, called with a pair, with 1 pair and inside straight draw.
Basically, Matt might have got some value out of him out of 1 pair.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he might. Okay, well, he could have ace king, ace 10, king queen here. I mean, he can have a lot of just air where JC didn't show any strength in the hand, and Matt's just gonna try to take away with kind of a dirty river bluff. And
dirty river bluff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hands. Once JC check calls the deuce 5-3, that he can actually get value out of it. In some spots where, I mean, with some frequency, he might call with ace high hands, which he did, where he might expect ace high to be good there with some frequency.
I'm not sure if they're playing the 7 deuce game. Nat's in the cutoff.
I think Nat just got a sickness, and Nat just wants to like outplay people.
I love Nat for this reason. Like, he's absolutely my top 3 players of all time.
So here we go here. Brian, top pair, nut flush draw. JC, flush draw, inside straight draw, and the heart comes for both players, and JC might be in a little world of hurt here. Brian has the nut, considering that he, with a 5 of hearts, and he's blocking the 3-5.
Oh man, this is just
Now does JC pop him here?
He can't think he's that bad.
I wouldn't be shocked to see JC make it like 1,400-1,500 here. Play back at Brian.
Yeah.
And there's the raise. Makes it 1,300. Ellie Sriracha, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the game. You're welcome. Brian here.
Brian's sitting on the nuts. I don't like him taking too long. It looks very nutty when people take too long. A medium amount of time is good.
It's tough to find that balance. How much in between?
You don't want to go spaz out right away.
Yeah.
And you don't want to take too long.
Brian's got another 2,700 behind him.
I just feel like,
and
JC,
I think you just stuff it here if you're Brian.
if you stuff it, JC, it's almost like your hands face up no matter what you do right now.
If you're JC though, can you get away from the second nut here?
Third nut?
Third nut, sorry. Yes.
I think he can. I think JC's a beast. His reputation precedes him. No?
I mean, and if you're over the long term, it's a good raise by JC. Most players aren't going to be absolutely nutty here.
Most of the time, it's right. Most of the time, like a jack high flush is going to pay you.
And there
up.
it is.
Oh,
see Brian stuff it.
Oh, he stuffs it. Okay, because usually this lunch. Okay, wow.
And now
Can JC get away?
And JC just says, "All right, you've got more power to you."
Wow, sickness.
And part of JC knew that he might be paying off. You can see that as he reached for he called and reached for his and held his cards out over the muck.
5.5K pot? No way. This is more than
Seven.
that.
Yeah, no, it's more than that. It's about a $7,300 pot.
Wow. Is this one of our biggest? Is
a
this
big
one of our
pot.
biggest? Why? MJ Halvey asks, why add the straddle? These guys are already short stacked with the first straddle. It would reduce the kinds of moves.
Well, it's not a mandatory second straddle. I mean,
Because-
it's an optional second straddle.
Yeah, it's an optional, and because gambling, man. Because gambling.
Because reasons.
Because, yeah.
JC's gonna pay the boatman.
Yeah. That's a tough hand. That's pretty much set
No,
up.
I mean, it's a super cool, especially when the king peels off on the turn and JC picks up the inside straight draw to go along with the third nut flush draw. And it's such a tough spot. I don't know for a fact, but I would be led to believe that JC, I believe he spends most of the time grinding out LA games. When he spends time here in Sacramento, I think he's spent a lot. He's a big family guy,
Yeah.
So I can't imagine he has a ton of experience playing with Brian. And so, well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. You just in these spots, you find yourself you just don't know. I find myself when I'm out on the road, I'm playing some games where
You
you're
don't
just
know people. You don't know their
people. And there's
tendencies.
people and that just other you make these laydowns or these calls, and people
Here's-
at the table with you are looking at you I don't know.
Here's how polarized it is when you're playing against people. You're either giving them too much credit or not enough. I've seen people overplay their hands and I give them too much credit.
Yeah.
Right? And you see that a single pair hand with 4 cards to a flush, and they're overplaying their ace like it's the nuts. And you fold and give them credit, and you were wrong, or the opposite.
Let's say that. From JC's perspective, he's got where this guy can be completely overplaying a middle flush or a set of kings or
Set of kings representing the nuts, representing ace high flush,
or just
trying to represent it.
or a smaller flush.
Yeah.
What do you really?
I've seen guys overplay small flush.
I've been put in some very awkward spots where you have a middle of the road flush and the board's paired, and you lead, and someone raises you on river, and you're like, okay, oh no, this guy's just he thinks trips is the nuts, and you're just
Exactly. He can't see the flush, yeah. But
Yeah.
this isn't that kind of game. But it could be.
As it is. We get a look at our chip stacks there. Nat's a little over 11K, TD's over 10K. Tony, Eric.
God, Brian's in this game. TD, Matt, Nat. Sorry. I actually run the Nat fan club. I don't know if you've joined it on Facebook, but we post lots of pictures of Nat playing on Stones Live.
Nat, crushing souls.
Crushing souls.
Playing junk hands to the wall.
People, going to the dumpster and throwing up in the back after playing a hand with Nat.
There's a lot of bad beat stories that start with, so I was in a game with Nat.
Yeah, exactly. You want him, but you don't want him at your game, you know what I mean? It's one of those guys.
Brian, he's gonna open up the button. Brian makes it 160 to go, ace 10 off. JC's gonna come in and out of the small blind with ace 7 suited, and Jeremy with a deuce tray off is being laid a hell of a price. And on 5-6 deuce, Jeremy has the best of it with a pair of deuces and inside straight draw.
I'm falling in poker love with Jeremy. He's
when we went into the lineup, I wanted to back up, okay, let's slow down here,
He's
Jeremy.
like Brian 2.0.
It's wonderful.
He's an upgrade. Sorry, Brian.
Hey, Brian Jarik's in the 7K pot. We're like,
Yeah, I know. I like me some Jeremy. Who is this guy? Where have you been all my life, Jeremy? And the deuce wins.
Hair.
And it was kind of just like a little bit of a limpy type of checked around pot for $500. I feel like we're high stakes poker commentators right now. How does that feel?
No comment. Filter.
Nat's got 11.7K in front of him. I'm surprised Brian's not. That can't. The graphics can't be right because it says Brian has 7.5K. He didn't start out the hand with. Well.
Yeah, that's about right.
4K. Yeah, I guess he doubled. Roglum says, I don't always drink, but when I do, I drink too much. The most interesting man in the world. Matt's putting in a little raise here. Looks like 150 to go. Again, we have a mandatory $50 straddle, so it's a 10, 25, 50 with a double straddle is live. The good thing about Brian is he's not going to build a moat around his chips, lock him down, and done for the night. He will play and give action the rest of the night.
Absolutely no. Brian's just gonna keep trying to hammer out these pots.
Nothing worse than someone doubling up and locking down their chips.
Absolutely.
I won't talk about Brandon, our local player. Sorry. I don't have ill feelings.
So Matt makes it 150 to go. He gets calls from Brian, TD, Jeremy, and Tony. JC as well.
We have a $900 pot pre-flop.
And on 7-5-3-2 clubs, Brian's got a club draw, as does Tony. No one else connects with much of anything. It checks through. Deuce on the turn gives Tony a pair to go along with his flush draw. Inside straight draw as well. He thinks a club would be good for him. He doesn't know he'd be in trouble with that card, but a 4 would be pretty pure for him.
Checked around.
Queen on the river. And JC.
Backdoors into the best hand.
Oops, Yowie makes the best hand. And he's going to bet it.
He's going to try to get value out of a 7 or something.
Someone getting really sticky with a pair of 5s. Like I said, a 7. He bets 3 bills.
JC wearing the Kings hat, representing for Sacramento Kings. Got a new stadium. Do you know when the new stadium's going to be ready?
I don't. I've actually seen quite a bit of the stadium. I have a friend of mine who works with one of the development companies that's building the stadium, and so I've actually seen a lot of like insiders. Like I don't know if how much should I?
Oh, you're like a big deal now.
I don't know. I just don't know if I should be out in this person.
Like,
but
dude, we laid down the cement. Don't tell anyone.
I've seen a lot of the stadium. It looks really good. I'm really excited. Good for Sacramento.
Easy Man 11, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the game. You're welcome.
I didn't want it to feel like I was late before to be doing the double straddle, guys. Double straddle.
Poker Pro Eric says it's an arena, not referred to as a stadium. My apologies. I am a Polak Canadian. It's my fault.
Tony picks up the ace-2 suited on the button. And do we have a double straddle this hand?
It appears as though
Nat double straddled.
Of course,
So
it's Nat.
Tony,
Come on.
Tony meant to open up the pot to 150. As it is, he just calls the 100, not seeing that Nat double straddled for 100. Matt now, ace queen suited. And now they're discussing it.
Our house rule here is you can make it.
And they're saying yes, he can make it. He can make it 150 to go. So it's a raise to 150 on the button. No, okay. So if you're Matt and you're arguing like no, that's a raise. When you're eager for someone to have raised your blind, are you not like tipping something off?
Exactly. No, but I think Matt is he's also a fan of the game. He understands the raise sizes and what they mean, and like you actually can raise to 150.
Yeah, 150 is a legal open there.
Yeah.
Matt flats, and Nat comes in as well with a 6-4 off. 3, 6, 8, 2 spades. Matt,
Why?
nut flush draw, 2 overs.
Why Matt? Why didn't Matt pop it there?
Maybe after the speech to the production, Matt was looking to check raise the flop, didn't get the opportunity, so now he's going to lead the turn. He figures that any one of these players would have maybe bet with an 8 on the flop, looking for value out of flush draws.
No, well he was in the straddle. He could have raised it. He had options.
Nat was in the double strap.
No, but Matt could have raised it.
He could have.
Yeah.
Yes. But maybe, like as I was mentioning, like, after he makes the case, like, no, that's a raise, maybe if he would have re-raised in there, or he's kind of turning his range face up. I don't know. So, here we go. Matt leads for 425. I'm sorry, Matt leads. Nat raises 700. Matt calls. Disco. River spade. And Matt checks it over to Nat. Checks back.
Whoa.
No, is check back? No.
No.
Nat looks at his cards.
And trying to make it look like he hit his flush. I often see people do that.
Checks back.
Checks. Oh, he was hoping to keep all of Nat's bluffs in his range and fire out. Missed out on a little bit of value there. Maybe he just folds if Matt bets.
Well, here's the thing for Matt. So, like, the flop checked through, and then Nat raised the turn. And so after that action, Matt's got to expect Nat to have a lot of value type hands in his range where that he might like bet for value on river.
Yeah.
And Nat's one of those players who's going to bet for thin value as well. So if he's got any kind of hand, I mean, if he had trip eights in that spot, he probably would bet, even regardless of the spade falling or not. So
Yeah, that's true.
after Nat checks, checks back, or let's check through and then raises the turn, Matt's going to have more value hands there.
Ziberju says that was a bad check. Bad check.
If Nat was like a super nit, then yeah, it's
Yes.
bad check.
Yes.
Nat is not a super nit. Nat's a player who has bluffs, who also will go for thin value with his one pair type hands.
Nat makes Bearju look like a super nit.
Yes.
Yes. Bearju, come down. This is a $10, $25, $50 mandatory straddle with a live double straddle. You're missing out. JC Tran at the table, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed. And apparently this is classic commentary. Classic.
Zach makes it 150 to go with 10s. TD's gonna flat.
Nat calls with a 7-3. Welcome to the game.
5, 6, 7. Nat's got equity. And Zach makes it a little bit, looks like about a little half pot size bet. He bets 180. Gets called by Nat. And Nat binks a 7 on the turn. This might go check. Nat's not going to give him the opportunity.
Zach took.
Oh, it did go check. And 3 on the river gives Nat 7s full. I would not expect Zach to be folding a lot here. The hard part for Zach, though, I mean, Nat could have check called with 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, any one of those hands, which all beat him. Any 7 beats him. 5-4, 6-4, all got there. 3-4 was already there. Unless you think that Nat's going to turn a pair of 8s into a bluff. Nat leads.
And he would
Makes
do
a
this
pot
with 8s.
size bet.
He would do this with 8s or 9s.
Would he?
Would he not?
I don't want to answer that.
What would he do with 8s or 9s here?
Check
Would he
call.
checks?
He would
call?
check call. I think he would check call with 8s and 9s.
God, I love me some Nat. How do you, like, look at his fan base behind him.
And Zach's like, well, it's either like 7s, 4. The problem, like, especially with the 3 coming off, had the 3 not come off, I think Zach might be able to justify, okay, well, he might have like some 6-4, 5-4 hands like that he might have check called the flop with, and then turn the river into a bluff. But with the 3 coming off, that completes all the 5, 4, 6, 4, 1 pair straight draw combos. And I mean, Zach makes a good fold, but the 3 coming off really hurt Nat. Even though it put the nail in the coffin in his hand, sealed the deal, so to speak, but it really kind of killed his action.
Crucified him, nail through his hand.
Well played.
Rogalum, I don't know how to say that. Welcome to the game. Eldolster here, new to poking. Welcome to the game. Shermster. We have men flashing us some nipples. It's always interesting. It never ends. Like, they need to like cover up this wall so that our fan base can leave us alone.
No, we switched. Half and half. We went half and half.
Actions on Brian. King, Queen. Never one to shy away from any hand. My Brian. Putting in the little raise. It's just merely a mandatory $50 straddle, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a double straddle.
Brian makes it 160 to go, King Queen. Jeremy's gonna make the call, 8-4 suited. Hey, you were excited about Brian. I was just excited about Jeremy.
I think they might be the same person, just in a parallel universe kind of thing.
King 3-6, 2 hearts. Brian top pair at backdoor heart draw. He leads out for 2 1/4. And Jeremy's had enough fun in this hand.
Mustak, welcome to the game. Nice to see you again. Mustak, the gifter of wine and beer. He's almost like the real Santa Claus. Like, what do you want for Christmas? Wine and beer? What else? What do I need? I need nothing but that.
Sean McCormick in the chat. Welcome.
What's up, Sean McCormick? Nice to see you.
I believe we have a PLO coming up this Monday.
Oh, I love me some Plo.
Yeah, we had Sean McCormick in our last PLO game, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you and I doing Plo? Are we playing together? We haven't
think
ploed
me and
together in a
Val.
while.
I think it's
Oh,
Val
wow.
and
Wow, just leave me for Val like that. Okay.
Shuffle up and trill. Welcome. Tony here makes it 175 to go for Dewey. Matt's gonna call on the button for pocket 5s.
It's Jake and Val. Fine.
PLO on Monday.
Flow without me.
It's like my favorite sequence of the month. He was like 10:25 Wednesday, and the following Monday we got again PLO.
I love it.
It's like the time of year that I love poker. 7-3-4. Tony hits his pair of 4s, backdoor hearts. Matt's got an inside straight draw. He expects a 7-4-3 to miss Tony most of the time. He's going to go ahead and call here. He does. 2 1/4 from each player. Jack on the turn. That might be a card. Tony decides to double barrel. If he had opened with a King Jack Ace Jack hand like that, it would just see betting the flop. Matt calling the 7-4-3. The Jack shouldn't help him too much of the time. And now Tony bets 450. And now this might feel like to Matt that Tony has some sort of an overpair. And is looking for value out of hands like 7-6, 7-5, 4-5, hands like that. And Matt goes ahead, he lays it down. It's a good follow through by Tony. 2 barrels.
Is Tony more of a snug player? Does he have a reputation for being snug?
I have very limited, and by limited I mean I'm pretty sure no experience playing with Tony. But I know Tony's a grinder, and Tony's gonna have gears, and I would expect him to play a mostly tight aggressive game. But like I said, what we just saw there is when he decides to get involved in a pot, he's not just gonna like, okay, raise, see bet, now check, fold, you know. Especially against a player like Matt. You can't just like show weakness to a player like Matt.
No.
And let him take advantage of that.
It's like bleeding near a hyena.
Yeah, and like I said, on 7-4-3 when Matt's calling there, the Jack shouldn't help him most of the time. It's better for Tony's range than it is for Matt's, the way the hand was played out.
Well, Tony's also a dunkaholic. I don't know if you've read his shirt.
That's the word on the
important.
street. And by
Yeah.
word on the street, I mean, you know.
Nat's got a hand. It's called a deuce 4. It's suitored, and
So-
he's on the button.
JC has the double straddle here. So it's 10, 25, 50, 100. 100 to go, and Jeremy takes a king tray of clubs and makes it 300 to go. Nat's gonna call 300 on the button with 4 deuce. And
Love
Brian with the ace, no, Brian folds. Heads up, ace 10, 8.
Jeremy continues. And Jeremy shows king high.
I ain't scared. What a game.
He was bluffing with the best hand. T-Sheets, what's up? Nice to see you. Welcome to the game. You're welcome. Christmas in September, ladies and gentlemen.
Service on 11, please.
I don't know why they're not bringing like a bottle of champagne and steak and lobster for JC Tran. Come on, he's a celebrity. He's a big deal.
Get it for Jeremy, whatever.
Get it for Brian.
All these kids.
All right, like, don't get Matt upset because Matt knows how much you love him, and you're not talking about him.
We'll go cry it out later.
Okay. In the car.
Tony makes it 175 to go, ace queen off. Jeremy makes a quick call with the 8-5 of clubs.
I'm Lemon Sun is hoping for a 20K pot tonight. It's possible. It is surely possible.
Action on Zach. Heads up to the flop. 435 in the pot.
3, 8, 10 on the flop. Jeremy picks up a pair. Tony c-bets. Jeremy ain't scared, as you like to say.
Ain't scared, and Jeremy makes 2 pair on the turn.
Tony kind of gives up here.
Well, he said, opposed to the last time we saw between Tony and Matt with the jack coming off on the turn, the 5 really shouldn't be helping Tony, his range raising under the gun. So, I mean, it's one thing when the jack comes off and Matt had defended or had called on 7-4-3. On 10-8, on 10-8-3 with a 5 coming off, it's hard for the 5 to improve Tony's hand.
I'm feeling like Jeremy's a lot like Brian. Jeremy, I think, had he missed, even if he didn't have an 8, he may have just called, see if Tony gives up on the turn, and then
To
pounces.
see if he shuts it down.
Yeah. Once he shuts down, he's in. Okay, so we have a double straddle going on.
Live 100.
Jeremy's got a live 100. So this is a 10, 25, 50, 100.
There's a 185 in the pot to start the hand. I love it. Action on Nat. Deuces.
Can we like pool our money together? Like I'll pitch in $100 and you pitch in what you won and like sit down at this game and go 50-50 with our winnings?
Nat makes it 300 to go. Tony and Jeremy call. No, Jeremy calls. Check that. King 7-4, 2 diamonds. Nat reaches for chips and Jeremy just mucks on the spot. If you're Nat there, of course you know you're never getting you're never getting worse to call. But if Nat ever gets 3s, 4s, 5s, or is it 5 on the flop, 6, whatever, any pocket pair or any kind of any reasonable amount of equity that Jeremy might have it all to fold, it's plus EV.
I feel like they know each other at the table. They know which ones they're going to pounce on and which ones they leave each other alone. Like Jeremy and Nat are similar players, and it seems like they're not going to get too heavily involved with each other, especially like Jeremy was out of position there. He just let it go so fast before even Nat.
Yeah, he doesn't
had
want to
put
bother.
chips
There's
up.
like no point in Hollywooding, posturing. I defended. You're gonna see bet. I missed. I'm just gonna fold. Let's get it over with. Get on to the next hand where I can rip someone else off.
Yes, exactly, right?
Brian opens with the King Jack of Spades.
Jeremy's more interested in the menu right now.
It's a pretty good menu.
Lamb chops.
Real.
No joke, right?
No joke.
You didn't eat before we started.
I've not, but you said lamb chops, and now I'm like,
I'll have some lamb chops after because I had fish tacos, but I'm ready to eat again already. I'm hungry all the time. Sammy's restaurant's no joke. Like, it's good stuff.
it's mostly amazing.
We just have a regular straddle on, ladies and gentlemen. Just a $50 straddle. TD's got it. $50 straddle out.
Matt's gonna fold the queen jack off under the gun.
How?
I think it's pretty standard.
No,
Most games.
not for Nat, not for Brian, not for Jeremy, not for Veronica.
I've got 2 Broadways. How can I fold, right?
Yeah.
JC makes it 150 to go. I'm sorry, Eric makes it 150 to go. JC's gonna flatten the king jack of hearts on the button.
Never heard of a double quad draw? 8-3-7 on the flop. Not sure what Eric has. He's stubborn about putting his hands over the reader. He's done this before.
JC's gonna bet to get Eric off of any kind of ace high hands. Takes down the pot.
Plastica, what's up, my darling? She says she's starving. Don't talk about food. Get down here. Let's have some lamb chops. I don't have a curfew tonight. Jake's gonna lend me money. I'm gonna go blow it on Baccarat.
What hurts me is that she's probably right. And that she's probably right.
Baccarat!
Wait a minute, I thought there was somebody else in the pot.
I would fully expect Veronica to be like that player to be like, don't worry, I got a system. Like,
Who said that the other day that they had a system of... Oh, Alan, Chainsaw, Kessler.
oh god.
I ran into him and he's...
For playing slot machines?
Slot machine. He said he had a slot.
Jesus.
He's like, I can teach anyone. That's what he said to me. I can teach anyone. And I was like, okay, well, this is where I check out of the
He's probably
conversation.
serious. So here we go. It's a double straddle. It's 10, 25, 50, 100. And happy birthday, Matt Holtzclaw. You've got kings.
I feel like they don't understand that they could double straddle half their stack. So it's frustrating me that the double straddle isn't bigger.
Matt. Now this might look to some players that he's picking off the limpers.
Looks like a squeeze, right? Jeremy's
it
too interested
800.
in food. And would you do this with like an ace-jack type hand?
I think you definitely could do this with an ace-jack type
Yeah,
hand.
you're gonna put in a squeeze. You don't really want callers with an ace-jack type hand.
But even if one person calls,
Jeremy, you have a straight flush draw there. 10-7.
and Matt doesn't mess around, makes 800 to go.
We got some JC Tran fans back there asking about life advice. Here we go. Should I stay with my girlfriend? JC Tran's like, yes, dude, probably a good idea. And he left. He said, thank you.
The Boom 89. Welcome.
So it's normally Lon McCarran that's doing commentary on JC Tran. Today it's us. We're kind of a big deal.
Same. Speaking of Lon McCarran, we have the Stones Fall Classic coming up.
And I'm doing commentary with Lon McCarran.
And you're doing commentary with Lon McCarran for the Six Max?
Yes.
Six Max.
Yes.
Such good poker.
I don't know if I'm allowed to enter it and donate my money to the local poker economy.
Well, I'm supposed to commentate the main with Chris Moneymaker, and there's no way I'm not firing the main, so
I'll be ready.
So you can fire the Six Max, is what I'm saying.
Shut up! I'll be ready for the main event to do commentary when you make the final table. Me and Chris Moneymaker? Good team. Sure. He'll probably want Val. I'm okay with that.
Here we go. Nat picking up the Ace King and the straddle. JC made it 200 to go. We can't see his cards. Nat puts in a re-raise. Looks like he made it 6 and change. 550. JC calls. Heads up. 8-3-4, 2 diamonds. Nat misses. But I would expect him to see bet here
His entire range.
100% of the time, yes. $1,200 in the pot.
We can't see what JC's got.
Nat puts out a very, very, very small bet. Wow.
I'm just gonna say this. JC looks really handsome in person. Really handsome guy. I mean, I'm married. He's married. Nothing like that. But we gotta get more JC on this stream. He's a good-looking guy. The ladies and some of the gentlemen will appreciate it. Just saying.
He's a hell of a poker player. So I mean,
Having to look at you all day. Anyway.
Matt betting 250 there on the 8-3-4 with that much money in the pot at a position.
It looks like please call me, please call me, please call me.
Right? I mean,
looks
that's gotta
very
be like the
value.
levels of levels that Nat's playing on there. I'm not gonna make like a standard like C-bet size here.
Nat,
And then 3-bet to 550 and then C-bet 250.
Nat could be one of the most dangerous players in Sacramento, I think. He, and I feel like he's a chameleon. He will adjust to the way you think the way you're perceiving him.
So I can clearly not choose the one in front of me kind of player. Like,
Yes.
TD makes it 150 to go with Jacket of Diamonds. Nat puts in a 4-bet to 425. 9-10 off.
God. Sorry, I'm just. What a
So here we go.
game.
I'm talking about players that have experience playing with each other. With the last time we saw Nat and TD mixed up in a game, it was this kind of like nonsense that went on.
Yes.
I'm going to open up 2 random cards. I'm going to 3-bet 2 random
And
cards.
it seems like Nat brings TD out of his comfort zone because TD's a little bit more snug than Nat. And
Wow, and look at this again. So Nat almost falling up like the same bet size in here. I mean, he's going to, and shows the 9-10, shows the complete hand this time.
Just a quick reminder for everyone in the game when you first
So we saw Nat 3-bet to 4.25, and then back up his bet sizing on the flop, just like he did in the previous hand.
as your chip stacks grow, please make
Then he C-bets 300 on Ace-9, what was it, Ace-9X.
yes.
The levels are going to get very, very deep here. I think we're going to get a spot where if Nat's lucky enough to get the opportunity after players have, go back and watch the first hand, then you show down the second hand. If Nat happens to flop a nutted type hand, flop a set, something like that, where he was a pre-flop aggressor, had a 3-bet pre with some
Depending
sort
on
of
who
marginal
it's
holding.
against.
Depending on who it's against, Nat might just gotta go ahead and pull the trigger and do the same thing. C-bet really small and get a player to finally say, like, I'm not taking it.
I think, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you. I think he might adjust his betting size depending on who he's against
We'll go the other way
and how they're perceiving
and
him.
then bomb it and try to like, okay, well,
Bomb it, make it look kind of bluffy. Bomb it to make, no?
I can go either way.
I just feel like
I think like you said, depending on who's in the hand against him and how he perceives that player's level of perception.
so he's this guy that I've seen play in so many adjust his game so much. I've seen him look like a reckless animal, and then I've seen him look like a genius on here. Not that a reckless animal wouldn't be a genius, but you know what I mean? Like he adjusts very well to the people around him. So Zach's picked up Ace King here, and he's putting in a raise.
JC made it 150 to go with a King Jack of Spades. Eric and Nat made calls, and Zach puts in a 3-bet to 875.
I feel like this is Shark Week at Stones.
And JC's got to be thinking like, okay, I came back here and I'm and God forbid I put a chip in the pot. I even 3-bet like every time you put money in the pot.
If you want to play this game, you gotta like put on your scuba gear, get in the cage, and get down with the sharks. Like this game's getting crazy, and yeah, the levels upon levels. Like Veronica and Friends is just like a bunch of like shenanigans.
And there's a lot of shenanigans.
There's no real reason to like a 4-bet. You know, it's just like I just want to put more money in. But here, there's levels upon levels, people outplaying each other, people having history with each other. It's very cool to watch. Oh, Nat.
So the double straddle is on. It's 100 to call.
How does Nat not have like 5 women behind him asking him to marry them right now?
That's what those little ropes are for.
Yeah, okay.
That's how we
That's
keep-
why. That's why. I feel like it's going to be the Brian, JC, Nat, and Jeremy show tonight. And JC's going to give some action. A little king egg suited. Nat's on the button though. He has position. JC flops top pair.
Check,
Checked
check.
around. 4 gate FTWW says, damn, JC Tran is no joke. Yeah, we didn't say he was. He's
3
a
and a quarter
beast.
from JC, top pair, 8 kicker. Now Nat, after he checks back, if he were to raise here, it could represent like super strength.
Not just strength, super strength.
And he grabs a whole fistful of white chips there. Those are $100 chips. And he just calls. That would almost seem more, weaker than stronger to me.
Ace of diamonds on the river. No flush. Broadway could have got there.
And I would expect JC to be check calling bluffs here from Nat. The way this hand played out, it's gonna be harder for me to get value from like a queen. Nat bet 750, and your JC, like, what can you beat?
The thing is,
That's
though,
it. No, you
the
can-
ace
you
doesn't
can
make a
check call
difference.
bluffs.
If the straight was there on the flop, it's there on the river. It was already beating you. You know what I mean? A Jack 10 was already made on the flop.
With Nat being the original aggressor, you would expect him to, like, if he had ace-x of hearts, he would have c-bet the flop. He probably would have c-bet his Broadway draws. Most of his kings. JC's gonna make the call. I can't see what Nat's got, but I think JC's gonna be good here. I stand corrected. And I would have lost just as much money in that hand as JC did.
Wow. Wow. Flop to 9, river 2 pair. Holy sickness. Sickness. JC's like, who are these people? But he has to love this. He's a poker player. He has to love this. You gotta love these guys giving you action with a 9 on that board. You want them to try to draw out something.
I like the way JC played the hand.
I like the way he played the hand too. Most of the time he's getting paid there.
He should be. It's a weird hand. I love it. If I'm JC on anything like okay, yeah, like how do you have the ace and like what
What
happened?
happened? Welcome to the game. Welcome to Nat. This is why Nat is loved and probably hated equally.
Feared and adored.
Yes.
I'm scared to love him.
I'm not.
TD makes it 2 and a quarter to go.
I'm scared to not love him.
Nat's gonna call with the king jack off. Tony's got pocket 8s. We'd expect him to call. JC is like, I'm tired of this game and what's been happening here, and so I'm gonna get mixed up and go get my money back.
Tony's got 8s. He's coming along for the ride.
Can't see JC's cards, but he's in as well. Ace 10-5, 2 hearts. Nat's got an inside straight draw to Broadway, backdoor hearts. Tony and TD miss. Can't see JC's hand. Check through and a heart comes off on the turn. Gives Nat the second nut heart draw.
I'm gonna grab some water.
It checks 2 Nat. With 9.35 in the pot, looks like he bets 3 and a quarter. 3.25 from Nat. JC's got his cards off the reader, but now he's gonna check raise Nat. TX Poker 30, we just saw a check raise from JC to 975. And it's gonna be 650 more for Nat to call with the second nut heart draw and an inside straight draw.
And in Nat's mind, he can't fold that.
JC's got a set of 5s.
Nat can't fold an inside straight
don't think
draw with a flush draw.
I don't
He
think
can't.
JC would check raise a set of 5s here. I mean, he can have
Oh!
Nat let's do it.
Wow! Wow!
And we'll never know.
I have not. That's not what I would expect from Nat. Nat will pummel you, but he'll also give you action. Very surprised. I don't mind the fold, but I'd expect it from someone else.
I get you.
So, Dino 1111 says tight fold, such a nit. I don't think you don't know Nat.
Go back to sizing of the hand. I mean, when Nat makes it 3 1/4 and
Oh, you can't open it?
JC check raises to 975, makes only 650 more to call. I mean, it's not so much that he's inviting action, but his sizing there isn't screaming like, please fold, if you know what I'm saying. Matt makes it 150 to go with the King Jack of Diamonds. And Nat puts in a 3-bet with King 9. And Matt.
0 to 10. How much do you love this game right now?
11D.
Yeah, I'm like a million. I feel like it's Christmas time in like 1986, and I just got a Nintendo. I love poker. By the way, great lineup for my next Veronica and Friends. Table's full. I'll just say one name for my next Veronica and Friends. Lon McCarran. Lon McCarran.
Lon McCarran, who owned your soul last game.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Lon can own my soul all day, all night. And then a few other surprises. Some people that will not be revealed.
So Brian makes it 160 to go off the button with a Jack 9 of Diamonds. Jeremy and Tony come along. And hello, flop.
Enjoy the flop, Jeremy. Jeremy checks to Brian. Brian was the original raiser. Brian's gonna c-bet this.
Can we
all day,
get
every
the, can we
day.
get the 10 of Diamonds one time on the turn?
Yeah, right?
One time.
Look at the call from Jeremy.
And quad 8s, Jeremy. Act normal, act normal. Another barrel from Brian. Makes it 3 1/4, 350. And I got a check raise on the turn from Jeremy.
It looks painful, right? It looks like he's just painfully putting in a raise. I don't have very much behind, buddy. Just, just doing my job. I think Brian knows he can't continue here. There's nothing for him. He conquered the land. There were no women. He's going back home.
I think Brian's trying to figure out, can he get Jeremy off of any pair here?
What do you think of that raise? They're not liking it in the
there's
chat.
The challenge, it's generally a bad thing to make quads. Just because you have such a hard time extracting value because you have the deck so crippled. If you do flop quads, you'd rather do it with a pocket pair in your hand. Like that where Jeremy has the 8-9 on 8-8-8-6. There's like nothing for your opponent to have there.
Even if your opponent has kings, aces, they're still going to question.
I don't know if they're going to fold kings or aces, but I mean, but those are like, specifically, your opponent has to have a very, very narrow, very, very strong range for you to extract any kind of value out of, which is very, very, very hard to have in poker.
I think he just calls, maybe he gets another street of value out of Brian, maybe.
So there's a challenge, is at what point when you have a completely crippling, debt-crippling hand, do you try to get an extra street of value? And at what point do you make raises? Obviously, it's much easier to do when you're in position, because then you can just call, and then raise the last action, or bet if it's checked to you. And you can extract max value that way. When you're at a position with such a lockdown hand, at some point you have to try to get a check raise in, or some sort of weird lead to try to get paid off, and it's challenging. I don't think there's a perfect way to play it. I think check calling there on that board, I might have preferred, but
the thing is,
it's hard. It's just hard to get value out of it, no matter what.
I think, devil's advocate again. I think, okay, let's say he just checks the turn there. He calls the turn there. On the river, if he checks, is Brian gonna bet? Does he, if he doesn't pair?
So yeah.
That may have been the only value he was getting for the rest of the hand.
So let's postulate this. So let's forget that Jeremy had quads.
Let's postulate it.
And forget that Brian had Jack 9. Brian's got 10s.
Okay.
And Jeremy has King Jack. And he check raises the turn. And everyone in chat might go nuts, like, what's he repping here? There's like, he can rep, he's repping quads. Quads are so hard to have, or why is he, why would you ever do that? Kind of thing like that. So if you're repping a very, very narrow range with a bluff, you can get called from a lot of value. And so if we said role reversal, if it's King Jack versus 10s on 8-8-8-6, we see Jeremy check raise, and Brian folds 10s, the chat's gonna erupt the same way the other way, like, oh my god, how does Brian full 10s there? Like, he can only have, quads, and that's impossible to have. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's easier for us to call.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you
Exactly.
don't.
It's easy for us to call, like, we can see, okay, Brian's only got Jack 9, you're only getting value from bluffs, you've got quad 8s, the other deck crippled.
Yeah.
And trying to extract value on that board, it's difficult. But there we go, where it's like, change the hands, and Brian can easily have overpairs there.
Yeah.
He bet 2 streets on 8-8-8-6.
Nat just put in a beautiful raise. So we're watching Zach, who put in the initial raise, which I believe, is that the straddle? No, it was not the straddle. It was an original raise. JC calls, and then it looks like Nat put in a 3-bet to 650.
And Zach is gonna flat 500 more, ace queen of clubs. JC 6-7 off. Can he make a move here?
JC's like,
what have I got myself into?
Yeah, they actually came to play. They actually came here to play. I wasn't expecting this. Five, 7, 8 on the flop. 2 hearts. Nat's got the backdoor heart draw. No difference. It's a good flop for jacks. It's 5, 7, 8 within Zach's.
So when Zach cold calls a 3-bet like that, he's gonna have a lot of pairs. He also might have some ace king, ace queen type hands. And if he's got pairs, 5, 7, 8's not a flop you're absolutely in love with. He's gonna have a lot of pairs in his range.
I often, when I'm trying to narrow my opponent's range, I often get really stuck with like an ace 10, ace jack, those kinds of hands, like a lower paired hands. Are they gonna just like cold call with those hands? Or are they going to 4-bet me? You know what I mean? Because they're not great with just cold calling, right? So you can narrow the range down to like an ace king, ace queen.
Ace king, ace queen, or pairs.
Or a high pair.
Or middle pairs.
A higher middle pair, yeah. Not like 3s or 4s or 5s, but like a 10s, 9s. No?
7s, 8s, 5. It's fine. If you're if you're deep enough to set mine.
Yeah. What I mean is like an ace 10 and ace jack might be better to 4-bet there.
4-bet or fold. Yeah.
4-bet or fold.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm thinking the ace king, ace queen, I think are the only 2 ace types.
Ace X type hands. Yeah,
No?
absolutely. I would agree with that. Okay, so reverting back to the previous hand, talking about checking value with quads, and a player mentioned, as we talked about, no, he would never fold 10s on that hand, and then, yes, absolutely right. So if we roll reversal and said that Brian on the quads hand, and Brian had 10s, and Jeremy had a hand like King Jack, and which is airballing.
Are we on the quads still? Okay.
Yeah. So sorry, I lost the chatter's name.
I just feel like Jeremy I didn't
Matt
mind
Slay.
the
So Matt Slay says he never folds tens, and I would agree.
I didn't mind the check raise because I feel like had there been value at the hand, it might have been ended there. He might have been able to squeeze a little more thin value out of him had he had tens.
Yeah.
But I think that it ends there.
I mean, on the other end of it, he also, this one's mentioned that he also, might not fold ace high type hands. But at the same time, you're also not getting value out of ace high type hands on the river usually because they're not gonna value bet. They're probably gonna check back and use ace.
Are we talking about the quad hands still?
Yes, still
okay.
yeah. So like if you think your opponent might not fold ace high as well, if you had like ace jack, ace queen.
With 3
X.
8s and a 6 on the.
Yeah, because you're repping when you check raise the turn. You're repping you're not repping very
You're
much.
repping a very small range.
Super small, like only quads.
Quads or a bluff.
Like only quads. so your opponent might not fold ace high type hands either, which is a good point when you're check raising there. But you also can't expect your opponent to value bet ace high on the river. He'd probably just check back ace high.
Exactly.
So at which point is where at some point where you're trying to get an extra street, an extra bet there, so to speak.
Maybe on
at
the
some
turn.
point you gotta either check when you're out of position, check raise. I mean, I don't think there's no great answer. There's no great way to like how do you get value out of quads?
Does
Generally
ace
the
high
answer.
check back there? Does ace high check back on the river there?
Oh yeah.
So your value's done on the turn.
Yeah, but they might not. But ace high might not fold to a check raise on the turn, which is why you can get value there. So that's what they're saying. So people are like
Okay.
all erupting at like, oh, why would you check raise there? I mean, the challenge is said how do you get value out of quads? The usual answer is you don't. And that's what I said. You don't. No matter what you do, Nat's got aces. Is this even fair? Nat's got a.
It is fair because life is not fair nor unfair.
I love that. So Brian makes it
I
150
thought
to go.
your children like plucked all your hairs out of like your strangly hairs.
No.
I thought
like,
you got your children to do that.
like monkeys?
Like children, pluck me.
Like no.
You Snapchatted me once them doing that.
That might have happened. So Nat makes it 5:35 to go with aces. Zach's gonna call with tens. Action back on Brian, who's like, what the hell happened here? And he's gonna call with a king jack
You
off.
know, okay, let me tell you why he does this. Not only is there gamble in his blood and he wrapped himself in bacon on
And
the way in.
Tony's pricing with a 5-4
Because there's
spade.
money in the pot now. There's so much, 2.2K in the pot pre-flop.
And top set for Zach.
Oh, man. And
Jesus.
Nat's got to feel good. And leads out right away. He was the initial 3-better. It was a 3-bet, correct?
Correct.
Oy vey. Oy vey. That's all I have to say.
Flat.
With 2 other players behind you, you have to flat. But there's the diamond draw there. But you have to sometimes just take a little risk, right?
Well, I mean, if you think you can get value from diamonds,
A diamond draw.
and Brian's gonna float this with king high,
Oh,
queen on the turn, queen on the turn,
Oh, yes.
king on the turn, and it's a diamond. Nat now picks up a nut diamond draw. Brian makes top pair, and Zach is still way out in front with 76%
What a hand!
with top set. It's not a great. It's a bittersweet turn card for Nat. The diamonds get completed, but it completes the diamond draw. I'm sorry, but he picks up the nut diamond draw. He's probably not worried about too many 2-pair hands here. He probably isn't counting on one of these guys to be cold calling or to be calling 3-bets with 10-8, king 10, hands like that. Although Brian came along with king jack, so why not? He's got him. He's mostly gonna be worried about diamonds here and sets. If you're Nat,
Reaching for the hundreds.
3,700 in the pot.
Those white chips are worth $100 each. The greens are 25s, in case you're just tuning in and you've just landed from Mars.
And here comes Nat. Now, if you're Zach, you're worried about Brian overcalling the flop. What kind of hands would Brian call the flop with mostly draws. He's not gonna have a lot of 10s because you have all the 10s effectively. He's gonna have mostly draws, so he can have the Jack 9. But what do you call? Would he open and then call a re-raise with Jack 9? Maybe. And Zach's just gonna stuff it. Wow.
And now
I didn't see happening.
Brian doesn't know how he's gonna. He's the piece of banana, and there's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He doesn't know how he's gonna fit in.
Brian floated this thing.
And he's
thought he got lucky.
Wow! What a great fold! What a great fold!
With Nat 3-betting, and then leading 2 streets into multiple opponents. King Jack on a king high board with 3 diamonds.
Nat's not folding this.
Does not look very pretty.
Nat's not folding this, especially with that diamond draw.
How many bluffs does Zach have?
He has to know he's behind though, right?
He can have. Is he really gonna be? Is he gonna float king queen with a queen of diamonds on 10-8 deuce?
There's no straight here, just the flush. I mean, he has the nut flush draw. He knows he's beat by a set right now. He knows it. He's reckless, but he's smart. He's wild, but he's smart. He knows what's going on.
It's a weird move by Zach. And there may be a method. Actually, we don't know player shoot. I mean, there might be something going on here where Zach's maybe pulled off a huge bluff here in a similar type play pot.
We've watched Zach do this. 3 barrels of bluff. Did we not?
Yeah, but he was the original aggressor in that hand, in some of those hands. I don't think we've ever seen Zach call, stuff it on a bluff line.
I'm sure it's not beyond him.
Not that it's not.
It's so hard not to call for Nat. It's so hard not to call. You have aces with a nut flush draw, and he's reaching for chips. He's probably going to call. It's probably going to be a crying call. He doesn't want to do it. He knows he's behind, but he has, as we like to say in Canada, oots. He has oots.
And Nat's trying to figure out, like, God.
Please Fold said Zach gave him a good opportunity to fold. Yeah? I mean, he can still fold.
Maybe Zach was worried about another diamond coming off and not necessarily losing, but maybe killing his action. And he figures he can get value from 1 pair and like, well, I guess when Nat has 1 pair of diamond draws. And he's gonna get it all now, and if another diamond comes off, it either might kill his action.
This is a 9.2K pot. Or as we like to call it, a sickness. This is a sickness. We don't need more cowbell. We like our fever.
The thing with Nat holding the ace of diamonds, he's blocking all the 1 pair nut draws.
See, and the
because he has the only 1 pair nut draw.
The chat's bringing up a good point. Is run it twice, run it 3 times.
And there's the call.
Wow. Did they talk about running it more than once? They don't have to show their hands, by the way, people. Oh, didn't Brian have the king queen? Still lose. They're running it twice. Zach wins both times.
Whew. And there's a $13,000 pot that is about to be shipped Zach's way. Welcome to the game, Zach.
And there's no funner player than one that's stuck. And when his name is Nat, it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Wow. I'm going to be honest, I'm not in love with the shove by Zach, but I got to imagine that there was some player history that played behind that where...
The one thing about that shove is I think he lost some value out of Brian. Had Brian had the hand, he had. You're not counting on Brian to have a lot of king X type hands there. I mean, what's Brian? I mean, cold calling with on pre-flop. What's he cold calling with? Pocket 8s, pocket deuces. Then of course he pays them off.
Yes. Yeah, but those are the only hands. I mean, the sick thing is with the diamond coming off.
I'm I'm just saying that.
I would expect Brian. I mean, the hand as played, Brian. I mean, Brian was floating and then smacked the pair. We know that.
And he would have smacked 2 pair on the river, and he would have tripled up. Results oriented.
Results oriented. Thank you.
It smells like breakfast in here.
But if you're expecting Brian to have a lot of draws overcalling the flop there, I mean, maybe he has, you know, I mean, he can have maybe what, jacks?
Yeah?
Maybe jacks or queens?
Brian? You think Brian will fold jacks or queens there? Brian wouldn't fold an ace there.
No. I'm saying, like, what would he call it? Cold call 3-bet and overcall the flop with?
Jack 10. It's Brian! It's Brian! Brian, if there's enough money in the pot, Brian will call with a 10-8.
There's enough money in the pot. Brian called the king jack. So.
I know. I mean, come on. It's Brian. We have to, if we're going to talk about range of hands, we have to take into consideration the player. It's Brian.
And Brian was actually looking to take that away on the turn until he smacked the pair, and then it was a bet and a jam in front of him. And that kind of, changed the whole. You know.
It's what makes everything so abstract in poker is that the consideration of your player making a certain move. It's like fold equity is so abstract because your percentage of your equity entails your poker's perceived percentage of folding. You know, like it's so abstract and it depends. It's player dependent.
It is, but if you're sitting there in Zach's seat, what are you really expecting Brian to have here? He cold calls a 3-bet and overcalls the flop.
A draw, 100% a draw. But then if the draw gets there, why are you jamming?
That's my argument. That's
Yes.
what I'm going back to. It's.
Oh, you're saying I just got there?
Yes, exactly what I'm saying.
8, 9, 10, Jack. Eric, enjoy. It is funny, the shove when the draw gets there. It is funny. But it worked. Results oriented.
JC's got the best of it here with a pair of 4s. Eric bets 400.
Kiss the chips first, JC, but don't really touch them. Just kiss them like without touching them, like I do. And then win.
And he passes the chips over. And Eric just gives them right back. JC takes down the pot.
No one ever does that to me. No one just like doesn't show their cards and just gives me the chips. How come it doesn't?
We've seen you play poker.
I'm living my life wrong.
JCW Poker, he mentioned a comment referring to the previous huge pot that was won by Zach, but he turned his hand to a bluff and got a hero call by ace. It's weird to say that out loud, but it's almost the most accurate analysis of the hand. That it's almost as if he turned his hand into like a value bluff.
I'm Lyman Sun said JC Tran isn't the star tonight, it's Nat. You know, I might agree with that. Nat
What
has
did we lead the show with?
superseded.
What did you lead the show with? And we're like, we have a local legend, and I'm like, Nat.
Yeah, Nat has superseded JC Tran. I mean, Nat may not get as much World Series of Poker TV time. Lon McCarron may not know who Nat is, but darn it, we do. And we love him for it. Nat folded a hand. All right, I'm gonna take a nap until the next hand that Nat plays.
What a mess.
And that is Ray, a very fun dealer who's always on Snapchat, even though he doesn't have Snapchat. Crazy, right? Jeremy races to 150. JC Tran and Brian call. Brian flops. Oh, I thought that was a king. Sorry, it's a Jack 9-4, 2 hearts on the flop. Jeremy's got a backdoor heart draw. No more.
Jeremy now makes a straight. Can't see JC's holding. His chips are blocking the card reader. It's a good problem to have. When
Sorry, did JC Tran reload?
I believe he did.
It looks like a monster stack crawled in from somewhere and like landed on his lap. Ace of diamonds on the river.
Brian bricks out. Backdoor diamonds kit there. Jeremy looks like he bets 400 with a straight, and Brian quickly folds.
So initially, through the grapevine, I heard that JC was considering not playing because he thought the game was not big enough. That he wanted to play a bigger game.
It's getting pretty big.
And I feel like we didn't let him down. I feel like Stone said, listen, honey, Linda, listen, we got a game for you. Sit down. Let's deliver. And Nat's at the table, so it's not gonna go wrong. People are asking for his autograph. Look at him. He's a superstar. He's a celebrity. Look at him. Handsome, sweatsuit.
Crushing.
Crushing.
By crushing, I mean reloading.
By crushing, I mean signing autographs. He does do very well at the World Series of Poker main event. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, no, we saw him 3 years ago, 4 years ago, take the chip lead into the final table for the November 9. He's got a WPT title to his name.
He's big time. $50 straddle, mandatory. I'm really surprised Jeremy didn't put in a double straddle. Matt put it in a raise to 150, which is something I would not expect out of Matt with a 7-5 under the gun +2. Right?
Matt can get away with a lot here, I feel.
Based on his reputation.
Correct.
And Tony calls with an ace. No, okay. Eric calls ace-6.
Bottom 2 for Matt, but the board is all hearts. Both players have diamonds, and Matt's lucky here that there's just enough of the wrong color red cards to get some value from Eric. Blackjack on the turn.
Ellie Sriracha asks, has anybody remembered the full velour suits back in the day? Yep, I had like them in every color.
1100 in the pot, and Matt is gonna bet, it looks like what, 4 1/4?
Everybody's reloading. How much do you think is on the table right now? Close to 100K?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on, give it to me.
Probably about 50.
I would say a little more. A little more than 50.
Yeah, 40 and 50, somewhere in that window.
It's like a typical 1-3 game at Stones.
So there we can look at stack sizes. JC's got about 15K in front of him. Zach, after winning that monster prize, about 13. TD, about 10K.
Eric
There's
has
some money
to
on
have
the
more
table.
than 630. There's no way. And Eric's reloading. I mean, everybody's reloading. Everybody knows you're not going to make any money with sitting here with a measly 1K.
48 for the win says about 63K.
Ha! I was right.
Amy, I was gonna bring my ski mask and my shotgun today, but I didn't.
Veronica's great at math. I know, thanks. I know he's needling me. I know he's needling me. Don't tell me he's needling me because I know he's
Is this
needling me.
live?
I have to do it before I'm done. I have to do it one time. Behold! Behold the chip stack of JC Tran. That's a scary chip stack.
That's a man with a lot of poker experience with a lot of chips in front of him. That can be a dangerous combination.
And so can Brian.
So the $100 straddle is live. Brian makes it $275 to go with a 6 tray of hearts. TD, ace-9. This is going to be a 3-bet or fold type hand for a lot of players. This game's playing just loose enough where I think TD can flat, and he does.
Back 6 high, backdoor straight.
I think ace-9 can be profitable in this spot.
King 6-8 on the flop,
Brian hits a 6. Backdoor hearts.
which is the nuts for him.
That was one of the best hands for us.
It's going to follow through. Check, bet. and then we're gonna see it fold. There it is. 375 from Brian takes it down.
I heart me some Brian. I heart him. So I was so happy to see him in this game.
Yeah. that's
Brian
good
and
spot.
Nat, just like they're my peanut butter and jelly in my sandwich, and I just want to nibble on that sandwich all day. It's my lunch.
Moses Poker, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the game.
Black Sun 19 said, "Brill, your last name in Dutch means glasses." Just a fun fact. Wow. At least it doesn't mean poop. Just like something bad, randomly. Looks like the double straddle is on by Matt. Me likey. Matt's giving away some action today. Matt's like, this is a leaf. Matt's turned it over.
You know, Matt's one of these, players who played online a lot like we all did back in the day. And then was forced to turn to the live games after Black Friday. And so finding, 10, 25, 25, 50, 10, 25, 50, 100. You don't get these opportunities when you're playing live in this market that often. And so Matt's going to take advantage of it while he can.
You know what I find fun about Brian is that, if I were to go play a 5-10 game right now, I would tighten up my range. And Brian's just playing the same way if it was like a 1-3 game. Just a jack 9, just like
in reality,
call.
in reality, you think about it like you should. When you think about poker, you should be thinking in terms of, hey, it's number of blinds. I'm this many blinds deep. It's an open this many blinds
And you shouldn't be thinking the way I do.
of dollars. It's not
Yes.
dollars, it's blinds.
What's
TD
that?
puts in a 3-bet with
5
7-4 off.
10 cent. Dollar. You don't know. You don't know about Soca. I grew up a
I don't
Jamaicans,
know what
man.
that. Well, I don't know what that is.
JCW Poker says double straddle is standard after losing aces, is my guess. No, Matt didn't lose with aces, but Nat's about to put in a double straddle, I think. We need to get some more LA Kings in our game. We got one. I thought maybe we got two. One or two.
LA Kings.
Sorry, Sacramento Kings.
There's the inner Canadian in you coming out like, let's talk about hockey.
Pierogies. You know what I hate when people say pierogies? It's just wrong. It's almost as bad as buying Polish sausage at Costco. It's wrong.
So the double straddle is on. No, it's not on. I check that.
Did you say the double straddle is on?
Is it's an open to
Ozzy,
150. Brian and Tony both call. Queen 9 rainbow. Brian is going to step out with his threes. He bets 225. Tony in position is going to make the call. I think if Tony was out of position, he'd be more inclined to check fold sixes in that spot. He's going to call in position, see what Brian does on the turn. Deuce comes off as a club draw. Nat, I believe, folded on the flop. Brian checks and Tony's going to try to take on the pot right now.
Jimmy Bluffett's back in the chat. He's always gone somewhere. He's finally back watching us. Giving you a crazy game tonight, Jimmy Bluffett. Does he send you pictures of all his endeavors, or just me?
Just you. Crush Live Poker in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I am assuming it's Bart, but it may not be. It might be one of his minions. Welcome, Crush Live Poker.
V Cross Poker in the chat as well.
Valerie, what's up, girl?
I think it was on Poker Night in America. We saw when the last time they were here in SAC. We saw JC and Bart playing in the 25-50 game, and they got mixed up in a pretty great hand. Where I think it was JC had flopped was it a royal draw into drum? Yeah, something like that.
You know what? Bart sent me the link to that, and I was supposed to watch it. I didn't get a chance to last night because I was like, JC's in the game, and he's like, cool. We got mixed up in a cool hand. Here's the link. I didn't even watch it.
I'm trying to remember the
I have to watch it.
details of the hand, but
I think Bart
heard-
bluffed him.
Yeah,
I think-
JC check raised. I think Bart floated and took it away on the river, if I'm not mistaken. It was a great hand to watch.
Because Bart's a savage. I don't
And
know
it
if
was
you know that.
it was Tuckman and our friend Andrew Barber that were commentating during the hand.
Oh yeah, okay. It
was a good hand.
That was that at Thunder Valley?
Yes, it was.
Oh yes. I watched part of that stream, but it was a very long stream.
There was a lot of poker going on. But 25-50 with Bart and JC, I'm not gonna miss it. Zach bets 260 with his eights here on Jack 6-4. Jeremy makes it 560 to go with an inside straight draw, backdoor club draw. I love it.
Some people are asking
Love
why the stacks are so big and why people are buying in. You can match
Because
stacks
reasons.
here. Yeah, because reasons. I think in this game is unlimited, right?
No cap.
No cap. So most of our games, except for the 1-2, you can match the biggest stack.
Yeah.
So the games can get really big, but I
Very off the
think
chain.
we don't have a cap for our 10-25 game, which actually this is a 10-25-50 game. We have a mandatory $50 straddle. Mainly because JC Tran wouldn't come in for a smaller game. And we love him so much that we made it so.
Backing back up to that last one, the Jack 6-4 with one club. Jeremy raising the flop in position with the 5 ace of clubs. Wizard.
Is that something that you will take a note of and then ask him for his autograph later and talk about it with him? For
No,
an
it's
hour?
just it's probably. I mean, it's so hard for him to continue without a jack there. It's. I mean, I always feel like I'm abusing that draw.
Oh, Crush
Inside
Life.
straight draw, backdoor flush draw.
Bart's talking about the hand.
Oh, there it
with,
was. Yeah.
Jason Tran.
There's what it was. Ace queen queen. He had 5-6 off. He check raised a flop with Jack 10. Yeah, that was the hand. It was a great hand. Turns was a 6. Yeah, Bart actually turns the best hand with a 6. But the river's an ace, double pairing the board. So Bart goes from drawing out to getting outdrawn.
Getting
But the way-
counterfeited?
Yeah, getting counterfeited. But he's savvy enough to realize where he's at in the hand and take the pot away from JC. And so once again on ace queen queen, once JC check raise, he like I said, he's repping he's not repping a lot. He's very narrow range of hands. And JC check raised the inside royal draw and bricked out. Bart, after making the best hand on the turn, gets drawn out on him, but then once he realizes where he's at, takes it away on the river. It was a wonderfully played hand by Bart.
What are you saying
Hashtag
about Bart?
poker.
Hashtag. I
Hashtag
love
wizard.
Bart.
Hashtag wizard.
Wizard.
Hashtag Crush Live Poker if you want to learn to take 5-6 off and go heads up for rolls. I don't know.
Well, Crush Life Poker is actually one of our sponsors, and they use our footage. So they might be using some of this 10-25 footage because this is some good. There have been some great hands.
So here we have, it's $100 straddle is on double straddle, I should say. And TD, he makes it 3 1/4 to go, Jack 9 off. Nat.
How much do you need in this game to feel comfortable?
More than I would be comfortable.
I'm saying you need more than 10K to feel comfortable.
No.
5K, you're comfortable?
Oh, very comfortable.
A over $300 race?
Yeah, absolutely. 100 bigs is very standard. So if they're playing 10, 25, 50, yeah, 5K is very fine. There's people that are very effective grinding,
I think if you live in the LA area, you're used to grinding like a 40 big blind stack.
No, I mean at smaller stakes, yes. At larger stakes, not so much. You can play much deeper.
I like to sit with 300 big blinds. That's just me.
So Nat puts in a small 3-bet out of the small blind. He makes it $650 to go. So it's a $100 straddle. TD makes it 3 1/4 to go. Nat clicks back, makes it $650 Zach, we can't see his cards, cold calls out of the big blind. 625 more. Now TD. He's got nothing but position, but that's all he needs.
What a flop. What a flop for TD and Nat. Both of them with a little gut shot. Both of them have each other's outs.
And Nat makes a bet, but he kind of bets. I want to see, like, he kind of like bet at TD. Bet 600. He wasn't even worried about Zach in the hand.
You gonna let?
TD's so perceptive.
And he gets
Unfortunately,
away.
he doesn't have anything.
You put a game of time? Pick one, man. Pick one. You pick one, I'll pick the other one. You pick one, I'll pick the other one. How's that? You just pick any and I'll pick the other one.
And he shows it.
And
And
he,
there's the thing about Nat, you know, like the levels and levels that he's capable of getting on a plane. I mean, you look at that sizing versus Nat. You would expect a player and with that sizing out of the small blind to always be so strong.
yeah.
I mean, it's a open 325, and he effectively min raises him back. He makes it 650 to go. And what he's really doing there, he's just taking the betting lead.
Yeah.
He's just taking the betting lead, and he's going to c-bet his entire range. I don't think he was expecting Zach to call out of the big blind. I think he really wanted to take to the pot heads up against TD and just, hey, I know that you're capable of opening wide, and I'm capable of doing anything that I feel like. So I'm just going to take the betting lead here and then c-bet my entire range on the flop and expect that most flops miss most hands, and I can get away with 3-betting queen 9 out of the small blind.
Or putting TD over his lap and giving him his banking like
Jesus.
his daddy would when he's
Jesus.
being bad. Surf Snowboard 3 says, damn, these guys suck. I'd kill it there. Seat open. Get down here. We'll get you in the game.
Grinding daily, I don't think that Veronica was referring to the role to play. I think we're talking about just like how much
To sit down.
to sit down with.
Not like your entire bankroll, but how much to sit down with to be comfortable.
Jeremy makes a set here, can't get any action.
Like, I wouldn't sit down with 2K at this table. You know what I mean? I could, but I wouldn't.
Gotcha.
I'd like to sit down with like 15K. Seriously. Because I'm a Brian type of player. I like my Jack 9 offsuit. I like you some 7-10. You know? Some deuce 3 suited. In early position to a raise. But implied odds.
Because reasons.
Because the sun's gonna burn out. Apparently I'm wrong. We're not gonna turn into a cold, dark planet floating around. We're gonna be burned up by the sun more than likely. Like it'll engulf us when it turns into a red giant.
Oh, that's cool.
I've been totally wrong this whole time, but I've been listening to different physicists. Either way, we're screwed.
Well, then rock and roll.
Rock and roll, drink tequila, body shots, gamble. Let's go.
So Jeremy puts in a double straddle and gets a walk. Something we have not seen yet.
I think this is the greatest game we've had on Stones Live since Stones Live started.
It's definitely the biggest game. And, I mean, that's the thing about it. Like, oftentimes you'll get games where players are playing a little bit out of their means, and so the game plays a little, too nitty.
Too tight.
Too tight, too nitty. And here we have a messed up lineup where these guys are like, kick rocks, I'm just gonna...
They don't understand tight. Brian can't. It's like a different language to him. He doesn't understand it, and he won't do it.
Brian, TD,
wrong.
Nat, Zach.
It's like communism. It's wrong, and he's not going to do it.
So Brian here, speaking of the devil, he makes it
Racist
200 to go with King Queen. TD will not defend the king nine of spades.
He learned his lesson from last time. And he's out of position.
Ellie Sriracha has got to find his way to stones. V Cross, go pick him up from the airport. Yeah.
I live pretty close to the airport, so you know, if you're flying in, let me know and I'll get you on my way here. Under the bridge bypass near the airport. It's pretty good.
Action on Zach. He's going to open up the pot and make it 150 to go with the 8-6 of hearts.
Surf Snowbird wants to know how far Stones is from LA. How fast are you driving? That's what I want to know.
40 minutes by plane, about
Yeah.
6 hours by car.
6 hours? Took me 4. From city limit to city limit, baby. Phew. That's me. That was me.
JC's going to defend the button with a 4 tray off. Jeremy and TD coming as well.
3-9 jack on the flop. JC's picked up the best of it right now with a pair of threes.
Checks through. Queen on the turn. Doesn't hit anyone. And JC's measly pair of threes are still best right now. He checks it. 6 comes off, and Zach makes the best hand. So sick.
$750 pot checked around. 3 straights. And he doesn't know what happened. Christmas came early. It's that mustache. It got you luck. Didn't have it before. He looks all business professional now. Button-up shirt, mustache. He's a door-to-door vacuum salesman. Remember when they used to have those?
Is that still a thing even?
No, it can't be. It can't be. I remember a family friend was a door-to-door vacuum salesman, and he sold my parents a vacuum. What kind of profession is that?
I don't know.
It's so funny. A vacuum salesman. Steelers 40-40, what's up? Looks like Zach's is there a straddle on this hand, or does Zach put in a little raise?
Zach
Yeah.
makes it, he raises, makes it 150 to go with King Jack. Brian's gonna make the call with Queen 10. JC, Ace 10.
Puts in a little raise.
Should be 3-betting most of the time, I would feel.
Yeah, I saw a raise. Raise is 600.
And it's gonna get through.
Pick this up. I know you're really quiet today because it hurts you inside to not be on this game.
A little piece of me's dying, but it's fine.
Have you blown through all that money that you won yet? 90% of it, right?
For what money?
Still not first, huh? Nothing.
Nat and Eric sit back down.
He's afraid. He's afraid. Like, someone been raising about the
It
defense.
looks
And I
like,
believe the $100 straddle's back on.
yeah, double straddle's back on. Mailman's got the double straddle on. Brian's putting in a raise to 300 with a queen jack. JC quickly calls. Did he just call? Yeah, he just calls.
JC flats the ace king. And Eric is going to fold the king 7 of clubs.
I can't do that right there. I can't do that. Clubs, clubs, clubs.
And that's what you get for folding king 7 of clubs. For not defending.
10-7-7 on the flop. It's Brian's option. JC's got to know he's ahead here against most of Brian's range. If Poker Pro Eric would just listen to my advice. At least $700 in the pot, $200 to call, king 7 suited. Come on. Come on.
I'll forgive you for referring to him as Poker Pro Eric.
Did I call him Poker Pro Eric?
You did.
Oh my gosh. Mailman Eric, I'm sorry. Oh, the Erics. I'm blonde. You know, all the Erics start to smudge together. I'm tired. I need some lamb chops.
Right?
Right?
$9 from everybody.
And the chat's having their way with
T-Burke says I should drink more. I can't. I mean, you didn't bring me any wine. We already drank the wine you brought. Come back. No, it's Mustak that brought me wine. It's Mustak. I keep mixing
Master
up.
C?
No, his name's Mustak. You know it is.
I do. $100 straddle.
Let's do this. Mandatory straddle with $100 with a double straddle option. And what a hand to have in the double straddle, right? Ace King. Brian just calls with a suited deuce 4. Brian keeps lard in his car, and on the way here, he rubs it all over his body.
Eric now, he might think about picking off the limpers here with a Jack 8.
Eric's
JC
taking up his
limped in the
game.
9-8 off as well. He just completes. And now Zach,
It looks like such a squeeze, right? And he's perfectly capable of it. And I know what Brian's
here comes
thinking.
Brian.
If I call, someone else will call. There'll be a lot of money in the pot. It'll be worth it.
680 from Zach, and Brian is gonna flat the 4 deuce off.
It's called the gambling sickness. He has it. It's a disease. You can't get rid of it. And you gotta just love it and embrace it. Oh,
JC's gonna dump the 9-8 off. Now, if you're Eric here, no, he's gonna fold. Queen 10-6.
Now,
2 overs in the gut shot for Zach.
we watch Brian often play off of what the other person's doing. If Zach looks slightly weak, Brian will pounce. But we've seen Zach triple barrel bluffs. And Brian's thinking if he has a hand like Ace King, Ace Jack, maybe a medium pocket pair, can I get him off the hand?
Brian throws it away. Zach's gonna be expecting Brian to have mostly
What he has?
middle and small pairs there when he limps under the gun and flats in that spot. 2 overs in the gut shot. So he's expecting to have all 10 outs there.
Had Brian put in a little raise there, picks that up.
It's not a good flop for Brian's range.
Yeah.
For what Brian would be expected to have most of the time, limping under the gun, and then just calling the open from Zach out of the big blind. It's Queen 10X isn't really the board that Brian is looking for to take that pot away. He's mostly looking for boards, smaller, middle and small boards. That's going to make more sense for the hand, the range of hands that he's supposed to have, and also miss the hands that Zach's going to be opening with most of the time. Not the best board for Brian to take it away with.
Babyface ATL, what's up? Welcome to the chat.
TD makes it 155 to go. Ace Jack off. Matt's going to call with pocket threes. Nat comes along with fours. And Zach's got tens here in the straddle.
Zach's like a mad scientist, like a calculated genius. You know what I mean? He's always thinking through these situations.
And there's the 3-bet.
There's the 3-bet, yeah. I like it. And he's been doing this repeatedly. Although he's had good hands, it can start to look a little fishy,
Yeah, at some point players are like, is this guy really running that good? Is he really catching that many hands? Or is he just abusing players and putting them out of their comfort zone? They think not. But Nat's still in the hand. Tony's gonna open a 150 here.
Is that an open or a straddle? You can straddle. You can double straddle up to half your stack in this game.
Correct. But Tony, I think that's an open. Tony makes a 150 to go with Jack 10 off under the gun. Jeremy calls Deuce Trace suited. TD comes along with sixes. Nat calls Ace 3 off.
Jeremy is Brian 2.0.
Brian's just going to call the Ace Queen. And we're going to have five-way action here. 9, 10, Jack. Top two for Tony. Open-ended for Brian. Checks through. An ace on the turn. Brian now has top pair and an open-ended straight draw. And he's going to lead right out for 250. Tony will make the call, two pair. And everyone else gets out of the way. 7. Puts a one-liner to a straight out there. 9, 8, Jack 8, 10, 8 all got there.
I love that check by Brian. Tony has not been active all game. It's very suspicious when he just calls on the flop. I feel that was like a little bit of pot control. He is going to call. He does have top pair, but he's not going to spaz out here. I think Brian played that hand very well.
Absolutely. No, you can get value from a lot of worse hands on the turn. Any one pair straight combo is going to call on the turn. And it's hard for him to get called by worse on the river. I think it's fine. KCM 1977, welcome to the chat. Have we said hello to Ghost of M yet? What's up, Ghost of M?
What's up, Ghost of M? If we haven't, if we have, what's up again?
So we have the Stones Classic coming up at the end of the month. We have a $500 buy-in Monster Stack, a 6 Max, and a 125K guarantee 450 buy-in 3-flight main event.
Love it.
Love it.
And you're doing the main event commentary, final table.
With Chris Moneymaker. Looking forward to hanging with Chris.
Me and Lon McCarran. I know Val is going to be with Bart Hansen on one of the final tables, and
Train and Tuck.
I know that the heavily airbrushed Tuck, not the regular Tuck. You remember when you used to open the Yellow Pages and like call for a pizza? You remember those days? But then there was that call girl section. Tuck's picture was in that call girl section, like 1-800 get you some Dave Tuck. Here I am.
Is that what that headshot is? That's what that is.
From the Yellow Pages, because he's that old. Remember the Yellow Pages?
I do remember the Yellow Pages.
I still got Yellow Pages when we moved here for like the first 2 years. So weird. I just put them right in the recycling bin. It was weird.
I don't remember the last one.
I was like, who doesn't have Google? But then like there might be some older people that don't do internet.
TD is going to open up, make it 150 to go with the pocket 10s.
Veronica and Friends, they're asking about Splum8, asking who's playing Veronica and Friends. It's a full game. I will slowly reveal everybody. Lon McCarran.
And that's going to call the 4-3 off. Now Eric with the Ace-King suited.
Looks like a little 3-bet.
Makes it 475 to go. Eric has not been playing a lot of hands. TD's not going to fold here. But I don't think he wants to get overzealous here with the pocket 10s either. He raised under the gun.
Yeah, I think a
And
flat
still got
is
3-bet,
really-
yeah. I think flat is pretty standard. And Nat's Nat, and I would expect him to call here.
Yeah, there's enough money in the pot. There's 1.2 in the pot. It's 325 to call. To Nat, hey, those are good odds.
Oh, I take it back. Wow.
Wow. What happened to the Nat that I love and adore? And he would have liked that flop too. Deuce 4 Jack, 2 clubs. TD's got a backdoor club draw. Not a bad flop for TD. Unless you're specifically putting Eric on an Ace Jack. But it definitely is within his
Ace
range.
Jack, Queens plus.
Does Ace Jack 3-bet you pre-flop though?
I wouldn't expect, the way Eric's playing, I would not expect Eric to be 3-betting Ace Jack a lot. So mostly when he's betting here, he's repping Queens plus. And if your opponent's only got Queens plus, I wouldn't fault TD. And TD's out of position. I wouldn't fault him going either way here. Eric's not been playing a lot of hands.
The one thing that TD's considering right now, and he's looking at Eric's stack. Eric's stack isn't huge relative to the game, relative to TD's stack. So
TD folds the best hand.
it's hard to bluff a short stack, and he might feel like that's what he would have to do.
And now everyone else at the table immediately says show the bluff. Wow. They were more tuned in than someone else was. That hand plays differently, very differently if TD's in position there.
Yeah.
Because if Eric can only be value betting Queens plus, but he's got more hands than that in his 3-betting range, I think calling with 10s there one time in position is fine to see what your opponent does on the turn. But it's much harder to tell, to narrow your opponent's range on the turn if you check twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and people who play smaller games don't. Position is important, I think, in every game, in every level of game, but it's so apparent in these games. Do you know what I mean? It's like fluorescently lit in these games. Whereas in like a 1-2 game, it may not be as obvious how important position is.
Yeah.
And there it is. I mean, TD didn't have position there.
Yeah. With position, I think he definitely calls at least one street. See what develops. Out of position. And Eric has not been playing a ton of hands.
Yeah.
So like I said, I didn't hate the fold by TD either. You're not really, in love with getting involved and playing a big pot with an underpair against an opponent who 3-bet and has not been playing a lot of hands.
Andy, New Jersey CA, that's what I'm going to call him, New Jersey CA, says that you're rubbing off on me with me talking about like backdoor flush draws. Jake's rubbing off on me, like it's annoying when I start to think about hands in a game. I'm like, oh, that's what Jake would think.
Nat, you bet 600 here. Top for Tony. Says, show me one. Nat shows the king. You have to call if you're Tony. You lose an ace, king, king, 9. And that's it. He showed you the king. You can't fold now. Am I right?
My thing is, if he actually had the nuts here, he wouldn't show. He would want Tony to call. You know what I mean?
I concur.
He actually wants to fold.
Tony calls. Six, 7, 8. Welcome to the chat.
Oh my gosh, 6, 7, 8. Where have you been? This is a game of all games.
Runner leads me says he makes more. Yeah, but once you call and he shows you the ace or the 9, it's really embarrassing. Everyone's like, obviously, what'd you think you had? That's all you can have there, and you're like, oh well,
Yeah.
I guess.
Show me 7 good life.
Poker News 916. Great commentary.
Legend.
He is a legend. Most cashes at Thunder Valley.
Yes. Zardog in the chat. What's up?
Oh, Greg! My darling! He used to be my poker husband, but I don't see him enough anymore, so we divorced.
Remember, he called me all in. 55. No.
This game is not capped. They're asking if it's capped in the chat. It's not capped. You can mortgage your home and come sit down. It looks like we have a raise here, do we not? It's a 10, 25 mandatory $50 straddle with a live double straddle if they want it. Raise to 235 in the small blind. Jeremy pulling out a little squeeze. Nat calls. Brian calls.
Deuces. I love it.
Brian knows the power of deuces. Watch it come.
4 players.
Set to Destin.
Queen 6-9, top pair, second kicker for Tony, in position,
And Jeremy flops open-ended.
and he's gonna fire right out at it.
400.
We can't see what Nat's holding here, but I feel like he wants to play pots here. If you're Tony, I don't think you love overcalling, but I think you have to, right?
3 players.
6 on the turn, and I can't see Nat's cards, but if I'm on a pot with Nat, anything in the board pair like Nat probably got trips now, like, because Nat has anything.
Nat has a 6 deuce. Scoops.
It checks through and the jack comes off on the river. Tony feels he has the best of it. He's trying to get value from nines here, mostly from Nat. Nat grabs a whole lot of white chips. 550 from Tony. And Nat clicks back at him. No, Nat makes it 2K. And now if you're Tony, what can Nat have? What would he call what would he limp? Namely, he limped under the gun. One of the things to keep in mind the way this hand played it, he limped under the gun, just called Jeremy's open for 235 out of the small blind, flat at 400, and let it check all the way on the river to Tony. And now comes back for 2K. It's gonna cost Tony $14.50 to find out where he's at here. What happened in this hand?
And Tony's thinking the same thing. What happened in his hand? Where am I? Is he bluffing me again? And Nat's one of those players that's capable of bluff raising river too. Although I have a sneaking.
He calls off.
Oh. Show a 6.
Nines full.
Wow. And his reputation gets him paid off.
Wow. So hard. Pokeberg's ace queen. Take off. God no. He never has ace queen there. Since I say that, I'm trying in the same breath, I'm gonna say like I would not have expected Nat to limp nines. But the gears and levels that Nat has to limp nines under the gun.
Yeah.
And flat Jeremy.
He's a disgusting, greasy, amazing.
Yeah, these are all compliments. So make no mistake.
He's
here.
the Ryan Gosling of poker.
I don't know how to feel about that.
He is.
I don't.
The movie Drive was based on Nat's poker playing
Yeah,
ability.
okay, we're on different levels when it comes to movies. we're on different levels.
Woo! Love me some Nat.
V Cross Poker says I thought it was 6-9 suited.
I thought there was
Suited.
at least a 6. Some sort of 6. A fearless 6. 8-3-3 on the flop. 2 hearts.
And I'm still trying to wrap my hand around Nat limping the nines there. Like,
Bigger Ultra, what's up? Welcome to the chat. You've missed a heck of a game. Woo!
I'm gonna be honest. If I'm trying to think of the way that hand played. If I'm Tony, I don't love playing big pots with one pair there.
No.
But I don't know if I can.
On a paired board.
I don't know if I can fold. If I can fold there either to Nat. I might have just. I might have just hated it and paid off there as well.
Exactly. This is Nat's reputation. He giveth and he taketh.
Yes. No one's nuts get paid off more than Nat. Absolutely. Yeah. And if I'm trying to think of what a hand that I would have. I might have just.
You pay him off with ace high there. No, just kidding.
I probably would have paid Nat.
And I loved the sizing of his river bet. It just screamed. It was actually very polarized. It screamed a lot of weakness, though, I think. Like I don't want to call. No,
It was beautiful. It was like I was like it.
it gets confusing to your opponents. What the hell just happened
So I
here?
can clearly not choose the wine in front of me, and I was just like, but he also this, and so no, it was wonderful.
So Tony got drunk, fell asleep, and his friends drew all over his face. That's what happened in that hand.
We've all been there. What a game. What a game.
I probably would have threatened to key Justin's car if he didn't like put me in this game to do commentary, because I was so depressed that I missed that last 1-3 with Nate and AD. Like the funnest 1-3 game ever. It was such a good game to watch. I would have died if had I not been in this one.
The 1-3 game that we had like 15K on the table with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was bananas.
Action folds to Nat. Jack deuce in the small blind.
Sir Donkalot, welcome to the chat.
Yes, JC added on.
I think everybody added on. Mailman added on. I wanted to call him Train. Mailman added on.
Nat makes it 160 to go. Eric's in a call with a 9-10 off, and Zach will come along as well. Three-way action here to the flop. 480 in the pot. And ace, jack, 7, 2 hearts. Hearts for Zach. Inside straight draw for Eric. And Nat, who was the original aggressor in this hand, makes a pair of jacks back to our clubs. Nat bets out 150. Eric's gonna call. We know Zach's not folding.
It's so hard to call with this hand, Eric being in the middle of the two. You know what I mean? I never liked that spot.
I like the raise here by Zach.
Yes, very much. And that's
680.
where, being Eric, you hate this spot. Your hand's not that strong, you've got a gut shot, and you kind of overcalled. No? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Eric?
Yeah. He's like the cream in this terrible cookie.
It's an awkward spot to be in. But then again, like I said, we look at, I mean, not to mean results oriented, but look at what Nat's opening there. If Nat's opening hands like Jack Deuce, he can be opening all sorts of junk there. And so 10 high and an inside straight draw.
Yeah, you're gonna call down with 10 high though?
They're going to call them, but you're looking to either one make your hand or you can take it away on the turn. You're not counting on Zach coming along as well and or raising
Yeah,
behind.
that's what I'm saying. Zach
So you're-
behind you is, I mean, it's not optimal.
I don't know why they even picked him up. He's like 42 years old.
With that kind of hand, I would prefer to have position on everybody. That's what I'm saying.
Well, he's got position on the original aggressor, and he never figures that Zach's gonna be like super strong, and like they're having just called pre-flop.
I just don't want to be the cream filling in the Zach and Nat Oreo cookie.
But if you're Eric, I think you're also gonna, against Nat, I think you're also gonna be flatting your really strong hands too, right?
Yes. But that's different. That's different.
I don't know. I think we're probably overanalyzing a call. A call with a folder.
Eric's just in a bad spot. I'm holding back analogies so much because
Are you being a little bit results oriented there, considering that what Zach held and what Zach did? So if Zach would have defended the straddle the same way with a hand like 5-6 or 5-7 off, in which case it's just going to fold. In which case, against Nat's going to be check folding a lot of turn cards.
Okay.
Then it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible because he's going to be flatting all his super strong hands as well too on the flop against Nat.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, I get you. I get what you're saying. All I'm saying is if I'm Eric, I'm switching seats.
You have position on that? Are you what?
Yeah, but you're in between Zach and Nat, and then you don't have position on Brian and JC.
So
You have position on one of the crazies?
So where would you want to sit in this table?
Nowhere.
Okay.
I would sit in seat one.
So Zach and JC mixed up in a pot here. They both connect on the board. Ace, King, 8 Zach's bets with his jack kicker. He bets 2.25.
Somebody can't run.
678, correct analogy. Eric was the runny eggs in my stripper pole buffet.
JC makes a call. Queen on the turn. Both players pick up inside straight draws. Need each other's kicker to make their hand.
I'm sad that 678 actually knows my runny eggs buffet stripper story. That means that he was there for the worst of me. That was a really bad night.
805 in the pot, and Zach's gonna fire out on the turn. 660. JC might now feel that his 10 might be no good as if he hits it. He knows that Jack's good for him, obviously. He's still gonna call. 9 comes off. Now if you're JC, you're beating ace 7. And that's it. You lose to all other value hands. If you're Zach, you're only beating ace 10. The board is strangely connected and blocking everyone from, getting confidently trying to extract value here.
Zach checks. I like the check. I don't know if this is like a pot control kind of check. Is he planning on calling
should be.
anything on the river? Check.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should be a check call by Zach. The problem, for Zach, once again, he's only beating. JC has the only and exact hand that he can really get value on, and JC would really be going for thin value there if he was betting the ace 10. Because he can only beat like ace 7 or king jack maybe.
Yeah. No, I like the check by both of them on the river.
I think it's pretty standard. I think any player, they have so much showdown value that any player's not going to lose it.
Spats.
He has 4,500. Yeah. He can only call 2 pair plus. All of it. Oh, what's that? He hit top set? Oh, damn it. But I was blocking. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Don't you want me at your home game?
Speaking of home games, I put it out on Twitter. I was trying to get together, I would like to get together a game of Drama.
Tell me. I'm interested in hearing what this is.
Drama. So it's like 5-card PLO, high only. But instead of it's a split game rather than being played high low. Half the pot goes to the best Omaha high hand. Half pot goes to the best 5-card draw hand. So like the hand in your 5 cards, so you're playing your 5-card hand in your hand for half, and then your best Omaha high hand for the other half.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
I've yet to try it. I heard of it, and I got way overthinking about it, and this needs to happen.
So you're such a degenerate that you're finding new ways to degen yourself.
Players are spending too much time thinking about Hold'em. Why not find other games that you can have a bigger edge in?
Let's not do physics classes. Let's play Dramaha.
Yes. Yes. Now you understand.
Veronica, don't finish that freaking Masters. Waste of time. Come to my house. Let's barrel some vodka and play Dramaha. Same
You just
rules.
get me.
Same rules.
Now you're finally making sense.
Same rules for the 5 cards in your hand. Like no jokers or wild.
No. You're just playing. You're playing your 5-card hand. It's 5. It's I say PLO, but it's like limit. It's 5-card Omaha high only.
And then you're
playing your 5-card holding.
Yeah.
Is the best
So
5-card holding.
if you have like a straight in your hand.
Or flush, that's a very good hand. Yeah, but then you're also playing a Omaha high only hand, 2 from your hand, 3 from the board for the other half of the pot.
So what you're doing is playing every hand.
It's
every day.
overthinking to the nth power. Nat's got queens.
And you're trying to get Barber in this game.
I actually learned this game, or heard of this game via Andrew and his
Oh dear God.
and Alex Weldon on the Part-Time Poker Podcast.
Look at this. Nat's got pocket queens. Of course, a king binks.
There's a lot of hearts out there.
Lots of hearts. Nat's got one of them. No one else does.
Nat bets 300, and it should do the trick. Dramaha, I'm telling you. Poker News 916, are you down for some Dramaha?
No, he's not. Are you kidding? He came
Why not?
He came to Veronica and Friends with $100. Come on. No, 200. He rebought.
I've never played this game before.
What are the blinds? What are you gonna set the blinds at?
I don't know. We're gonna play it later and see what everyone's
I'll
playing.
come if there's annies.
Jesus.
I can't play a small stakes game without annies.
Never mind. You're
Everyone
not invited.
loves
You're not
annies.
invited.
Everyone loves annies.
We're
Come
not,
on.
but it's not a no limit or pot limit game. So the point of annies is it's
Is to
limit.
build the pot.
All right, whatever.
Why can't we build the pot? Why can't we have big pots? Why
It-
can't we have nice things?
You're dealt 5 cards. People aren't folding. You're gonna have pots. You're dealt 5 cards, and there's 2 ways to win. You're gonna have action.
If we do 6 cards, I'm in.
300.
Eric just bumped it up to 300 with a Queen Jack of Hearts.
Brian calls Ace Queen.
Brian's never shy with Ace Queen. Never.
Jeremy comes along as well. 7-5 off for 300. Nat. Ace 4.
I'm not sure where Jeremy's
wall.
been all of his life, all of my life, but I'm happy to have him now.
Top 2 for Eric. Top for Brian.
And things might get a little messy right now. T. Burke says, I wish like hell they had a therapist in the plastic cube with these guys. Brian's getting mixed up with a lot of these hands.
Eric bet 750. Wow.
Where he's got top, he's got a pair. I just hate getting caught up with one pair hands with some power housing in front of you. Jeremy, look at what Jeremy is doing. Jeremy's showing that he's folding.
Brian stuffs it
stuffs
top.
I don't like it.
I'm not in love with it, and we know Eric's not folding. There's the chip. And when he calls off as casually as that, when you're Brian, you cannot be in love with that spot.
I think they're talking about running it once or twice.
Eric asked me if you have kings or aces.
Against Eric, I don't. If it was maybe Nat, I don't mind the stuff, but against Eric, I don't like it. Eric's a little bit tighter.
I don't like it against anyone. So they're gonna run it twice. Eric's got the first board. Brian's gonna need an ace. Disco, and they'll chop. And that's why I always say run it 3 times. Someone's gotta lose.
Do once, and then you talk me into doing that.
Like that time you got second place. Oh. 30 more minutes and you're out of here.
I'm running it an odd number of times because there's a winner, there's a loser.
I get it. I
Yeah,
get
I don't
it.
need to explain
I
it.
get it. I like. That's why run it once. Then. Run it once. I told.
I'm all for running it multiple times to reduce variance, but there's still got to be. I mean, there's got to be edges in it. There's a familiar face.
Holy.
It's been a while.
He was on a Mars mission and now he's back.
Hey, yeah.
There's Justin in the past. Went in the time machine.
3 times.
Wait for 150. Get you in the game or what?
Zach raises to 150. See, Zach's one of these guys that starts to warm up in the game and starts to get a little more loosey-goosey as the night goes on. A little 9-7, under the gun +2, a little bit of raisy-daisy.
Second round.
Ace on the turn brings a diamond draw.
$255.
Steelers 40-40, so he's still partial to Boom Goes the Dynamite.
Who is?
Steelers 40-40.
Looks like we have a mandatory double straddle on. And
JC's gonna open up the pot. 250.
I like it.
Jeremy, Ace King suited.
Now, what's the calling strategy with Ace King suited there on the button?
If a player raises a snug player raises an early position, very early position, flatting Ace King is being pretty standard. Oftentimes, although even 3-betting is fine as well. But JC opened at a middle position. So I think Jeremy's just kind of disguising, under-repping his hand.
So
Matt's out of position. Matt doesn't want to play a huge pot here.
It sounded like he said, did he say 950?
He does 3-bet. So Matt
650, sorry.
Matt does 3-bet, okay.
Yeah. Matt went to 650. So I kind of feel like Jeremy, it appears as though he's capping his range. So he just called the initial rate. Oh, he goes all in. Okay.
All of it.
Never mind.
And Matt's probably going to be priced into what he thinks is a coin flip. With Jeremy just calling JC's open, Matt's expecting to be flipping here every time. And he's actually relieved to find out that they have the same hand.
We're all praying for a flush of some sort.
They say twice. Clubs for Jeremy.
Oh.
That was his best chance at it. Chop it up. Matt picks up spades. Oh. Both players sweat each other on the turn. Both boards. Take back your bets. Yeah, with Jeremy just calling JC's open, as you mentioned, kind of like caps his range, maybe like you said, maybe like tens, possibly jacks, probably more like tens, nines, eights, something like that. And then once he gets in after he gets in the back raise over Matt's 3-bet,
Yeah.
Matt at that point, if there's any money in the pot, you're expecting to be in the coin flip, you should call.
God, I wish I chopped when I called off the Ace King like that. Ay, ay. Ay, vey. Did we say hello to Babyface ATL today?
I don't know if we have. What's up?
What's up?
No. Hey, you want to do time out?
Why can't we just run 3 times?
Or once? Dealer is taking the rake, which is once every 30 minutes. You gonna play the 6 max?
I'm gonna try to play everything. There's maybe one event that
You're
I'm
gonna
up.
invest $7K into the Soames Classic.
Well, that's just in the main. I'm gonna try to play everything. There's one event I probably won't be able to make, possibly, but everything else, I'm gonna try to clear my schedule for and try to play everything.
The good thing is we have satellites running for all of them, so I'm gonna
Try to play all. I'm gonna try to play all of this too.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a lot of satellites.
If I can play every event for under 1K, I would be thrilled.
Action's on Brian.
You keep going until someone.
Brian's got a Brian hand. He calls.
You're in seat 4. That's good for you.
I know, but there was no flop. It would have been good for me if there was a flop at the end, there was no flop.
You had 3 4s in your hand?
Yeah, there was no flop. Yeah, there was no flop. I had 3 4s in my hand. Somebody raised, every fold. There was no flop.
That's good for you. What do you need it for? Are you talking about time or?
Yeah, it was time flop.
Oh, then
Zach's option here.
But yeah, you didn't get 2 flops.
Queen Jack 4, 2 diamonds, misses everybody.
Yeah, but it's not the queen. No one doesn't play. Or is that?
Why did Matt get a splash of hundreds thrown at him? Did they have some sort of side bet going on?
Might have been. Tony's got a pair of 4s. Tony's got a lot of 4s.
Checked around.
T-Bird complimenting everyone starting in 7-5 off deuce straight, 8-5, 6-5, 4-3. Checks all the way to Tony. He bets 150, and there's no love for him.
What was that guy's name that was sitting in seat 1 in the last 1-3 game? That was supposed to be the employees game.
I got C6 and 2 4.
I want to start a hashtag justice for, can't remember his name. You know what I mean? Because he was just like, just kind of got beat over the head with the deck.
Yeah, Keon.
Keon, justice for Keon. And he like just ordered his food, which is standard.
Yes.
After like the 4th buy-in got drilled out of his hands. His food arrived. Justice for Keon, hashtag.
The deck does that to us every now and then.
I'm Lyman's son. Yeah, the guy in seat 1 from our last 1-3 game, which was last week, a week from.
Just for the TD makes it 3 1/4 to go with a 5-4 of hearts.
And the chat is accepting the justice for Keon.
JC has the $100 straddle on. Eric now picks up ace queen in the small blind, and he puts in a 3-bet. Who makes it? Was it 1150? 950.
Brian must have had the straddle on.
JC.
No, Brian was under the gun. Brian's under the gun, so he had a $50 straddle on.
But it was a double straddle from JC.
Yeah, so JC had the $100 straddle.
Oh, that's what I was saying, because the mandatory 50, so like was playing the same.
Oh, sorry. My bad that we were saying the same thing.
Same. 3-bet to 950, ace queen off, and Eric takes down the pot.
We often enjoy arguing about the same thing from like 2 different angles.
Yes. The worst.
Are you playing cash after this?
I'm getting lamb chops after this.
No, I'm getting lamb chops. I hope they have lamb chops still because, you know, sometimes they run out when everyone orders the lamb chops because they're the best thing on the menu.
I can go for some duck tacos. Or mahi tacos.
Oh, I already had mahi tacos. I can't do it again.
Don't worry, I can. Jeremy here's got pocket jacks under the gun +2. 10, 25, 50. Nat, king, queen suited. Makes it 150 to go.
Babyface ATL's wondering how much he can sell his Doyle's Room patch for. I'll give you 10 cents. Queen 8-3 on the flop. 2 clubs, or as Val calls them, puppy paws.
Puppy feet.
Puppy feet. Puppies don't have feet. Nat flops a flush draw.
JC now is 2 pair. Jeremy's in 3rd place in this hand. Nat.
Oh, the chat's the nuts.
$1,100 in the pot. And Nat bets 500.
Quick call by JC. This looks like 425.
JC checks it. And Nat is gonna value bluff the king, queen of clubs.
I like a check here. You have showdown value. If he has an ace, he'll probably call.
On queen 8-3, what
Nothing
aces
got
does he
that.
have, though? I mean, mind you, we know JC has an ace. Ace X of clubs. It's hard because he's got
Insta
clubs.
call. Insta call.
Snap calls 825, and Nat knows that that's no good for him. JC gets a little bit back. JCW Poker says no, it's not a value bluff, it's very thin value. Kind of what the value end of a value bluff is. It's kind of a thin value bet, merging the bottom of your value range with your bluffing range as well. I suppose on the way the board played out, you would never expect your opponent to have better hands they would fold. I mean, it's hard for that's what I was gonna like. What other kind of ace X hands would JC have?
Ace 8, ace.
Well, I mean ace 8, ace queen, but we weren't expecting him to fold those hands. So yeah, JCW Poker's probably right. It's more just thin value than it is a value bluff.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any better hands. Because there's not just like random ace X type hands that you expect him to have there. He's never just like floating. I mean, ace 9, ace 10, things like that. So you're never really trying to get any better hands to fold. You know, I mean, you can get them off chop maybe. I mean, but that's it. So yeah, probably
a check back. I think would have been ideal.
Yeah, you can get calls. Yeah, king jack, jack 10. So yeah, it's probably more thin value than value bluff. Jeremy bets 500 with 5 high and gets TD off a pair of 5s.
If you are just tuning in, make sure you hit the heart. You'll follow us. We'll notify you when we go live every Monday and Wednesday. We do a 10-25 game once a month. And to be honest with you, most of our 5-10 games kind of turn into a 10-25 game.
It's wonderful.
It's because you can match the stack here at Stones.
And we got PLO coming up Monday.
Oh, you and Val are plowing. Plow without me. It's fine. I'll be at home with a sad face.
Brian bets 175, 10-7. TD, Ace Queen. TD raising. Brian is gonna call with 10-7, thinking that TD's gonna slow down on the turn. 9 comes off. TD bets 550 and Brian gets away from it. But Brian's gotta be thinking that TD's check raising there with air. Or very, very, very light, and it will give up on the turn and you can take it away.
I feel like Mailman has more admirers than JC Tran. You know what I mean?
He's mailman.
Waiting for the team.
He ships it.
What does it take? What does it take to make you number one?
Tune out the Stairway to Heaven. I know it's on. And you're getting emotional. Just tune it out.
I still play the same, but you call, but I still go down.
You have a job. And
Brian just calls. It looks like it was a $125 raise. It's a mandatory $50 straddle, but that is not a double straddle. That was just a raise. Gets a call out of Jeremy and Brian. Deuce 4-6 on the flop. 2 hearts. Jeremy flops a flush draw. And puts in a little check raise. TD lets it go.
Jeremy.
Did that hand without you. It was so weird.
I think he did fine.
It's like doing it by yourself. It's just not fun. I'm not making reference to anything because I'm not allowed to.
I'm not talking about stuff. I'm not talking
about stuff. I'm not talking about anything.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not saying I like whipped cream on top of my ice cream sundae. I'm not saying that.
Me and Paul,
Whipped cream.
JC's going to pick up the King, Queen of Diamonds here. Makes it $250 to go. $100 straddle is on. And here comes Nat. Makes call.
Waiting for the graphics to catch up.
I think it's driving back to LA.
Ace 8-10, 2 clubs. JC is going to follow up at 300. And Nat's got top 2. And he puts in a big check raise here.
Can JC continue here with just a...
If JC thinks that Nat is capable, is just can be check raising this sizing with draws, clubs, Jack 9, things like that, he might stick around with the King Queen. No, he lets it go.
El Sriracha, if you're from Calgary, I grew up in Edmonton. I actually found my River Creek Casino jacket that I used to wear all the time that I got.
I saw
Like-
that the other day. Oh my god.
Like, woo, River Cree, Edmonton. There used to be a lot of action there. We used to have a nice poker room, but they closed the poker room. But Calgary has amazing action. Loved it.
Eric now, aces. Is he just gonna limp in? Yes, he is.
No, I think he raised to 150. It's a $50 straddle. Eric raises to 150. I heard the deal.
He does raise 150. Okay.
I'll be honest with you.
And gets absolutely no action. Nat's gonna give him some.
He's not the type of holder player that would struggle.
Nat's like, I'll be your baby tonight.
There's certain type of holder players.
775. Check. I like the check by Eric. It's hard for me. I mean, not just because we see that Nat's got a lot of sevens, but it's hard for him to get value out of worse hands there. Not a whole lot for Nat to have connected with.
The problem if Nat calls is he play face up now. I mean, does he have
can have a lot of one.
anything else?
He can have a lot of. He can have. It's not. He can have
Ace high
fives.
Can he have a lot of ace high hands and just call?
I think if you're Eric here, you snap call.
Eric's just uncomfortable here. He knows that Nat flopped a 7. He knows
I think the
it.
check back on the. I think the check back on the flop for Eric is standard. I mean, there's not a lot for Nat to connect with.
He's just giving his money away, and he knows it. Show me the 7, he said. Show me the 7. There it is. And you want action.
Jeez.
You want action when you have aces. You're dominating pre-flop, and then once in a while this happens, and you just laugh about it. Whatever.
Poker happens.
All the Canadians are in the chat, eh?
Don't you know?
Every time we cheers to Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan.
Baby Days ATL asks, where's all the money in this pot? I think Eric played it well, and I mean, not just because, I mean, we can see the hands, we know that he was beat there, but trying to get value from his aces is not, it's hard to connect with 775. I'm sure Eric would have been much more willing to put more money in the pot had a card, there'd been a bigger card on the flop, had it come down, Queen 7-5, Jack 7-5, something like that. Jack 8-6, even. It's gonna hit a big blind defense range more often.
How long you guys use this tap?
The chat's going into all kinds of Canadian stuff. There's a berry, I don't know what it's called in America, but we call it the Saskatoon berry. And you can get a lot of it in Saskatchewan. You know, there's a town called Saskatoon.
Palm Megaphone, hard to connect, there's plenty of draws. I mean, what, 6-8 and hearts. That's
No, it's fine. We won't go into Canadian talk. It's fine.
a small pocket pair might feel.
No, it's good.
I'm sorry, Canada A?
No, we're good. We were gonna talk. I was gonna lead it into something poker, but it's fine. You can't trade your Saskatoons in for chips here, so we won't talk about it.
Saskatoons, is that a real currency?
In Saskatoon, it is. Saskatchewan.
In Saskatchewan. They I don't even want to know.
Make a pie out of it.
So it looks like Zach makes 275 to go.
I would say it's not lucky to get a big pocket pair. It's lucky if you get action and win. I'm still kind of sad about my aces. 4 deuce. And that guy didn't even make it far.
It's okay.
No, it's not.
It's okay.
I still can't get over it. People are begging me for OT. Begging me.
Tony makes it 175 to go. Jack 9 of hearts. Nat is going to just call ace queen suited out of the cutoff. Eric comes along with pocket sixes. And JC feels like defending with the old 4 tray off. 4 way to the flop. Ace 10 10. And Nat's got this thing on lockdown. Three and a quarter from Nat. No love.
So we have a $100 double straddle on, which is live. Pretty much when you play this at this stake, whatever you ask for, you will get. Are you gonna have a double straddle live on your game?
Mine.
Yeah, you said you're gonna do a home game.
Oh,
A 5-card
drama hall.
Dramaha. I feel like there needs to be a concrete winner. Like maybe you just get a third of the pot with the 5 cards in your hand. The best 5 cards.
That was our game.
That was our game?
That was all of it.
Wow. That was a glorious game.
Kicked off like really strong. I think there's a little bit low there, but anytime that Nat's involved in hands, you're on your heels, and you gotta be ready to go all the way with like pretty marginal holdings. And sometimes it's gonna bite you. You saw that hand with Tony with the king queen, going for value there, and the way the hand was played looked like very well should have been the best hand. And Nat got sneaky and limped in there with the 9s and filled her up.
Nat's our superstar. We need a big poster of Nat, Stone Slide Poker on it. Get him to autograph it. He's it. Plowing. When are you plowing with Valerie?
Monday. 5-5 PLO, Deej Poker. Tune in.
Awesome. PLO. We give you the best. We're Stone Slide Poker. Make sure you hit the heart. Follow us. See you on Monday. And then next Wednesday is just a good old-fashioned 510.
It's gonna be great.
I
Crush
mean,
it.
how do you compare? How do you compare? Maybe JC Tran will join us again. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Good night.